up, glasses? Fucking four eyes over here.
I couldn't see. I'm trying to sign in real fast to kick somebody out or kick something out.
To kick
Is that your
someone out.
hat?
Yeah,
Yes, let's see it.
it's
Zoom
a hat.
in. Nice. So black, I like it. Black and white. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Still have this in it. That doesn't help, but
Why? Because it's new, or are you trying to hold the shape of it?
brand new. Guess I should take the stickers off. I don't know.
You own it now. It's all yours.
Yeah.
No going back. So, were you able to make an account on the Zoom, or you don't want to do that? Or
I haven't even looked into it. Not that I don't want to, it's I just haven't had the time to do it.
I know, same,
And
same, same, same.
then I have to like use a new link for people and then change it on the thing. And not saying I'm not open to it, but I just
Yeah.
haven't gotten to it yet.
How do you usually do your thing?
I don't. I don't. I'm new. I just have
How did
Google
you do it
Meet.
last time?
I have Google Meet and I started an event within the private group. And
Hmm.
I have it recurring every week on Wednesday for like 2 years.
Nice,
And
nice.
I have Loom that I can use to record it if I so choose.
Yeah, I think you should document. Documenting has always paid off for me.
Yeah.
Um, it's just fun. I like to look back. Hi,
Yeah.
Keith Lyons.
What's up, man?
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah. I think you need a little bit of excitement in your life, Keith.
I
A little bit of joy.
got all kinds of excitement in my life.
Do you?
Trying trying to find money without trying to find small amounts of money is stupid, you know.
You said small amounts of money?
Yeah, I need to finish two rehabs. I got one I need 40,000, the other one I need 120. I can
Yeah.
find guys just like tonight. I talked to another. Everybody wants to be on first, so they want to finance everything. You know what I mean? Well, I've already bought it with other private lenders. And I went back to those private lenders, offered them the, you know what I mean? They just, one of them bought three houses and he's doing stuff, and the other one's got a couple, you know what I mean? So they just don't have the finances that they don't, want to, they can't do it right at the moment. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to find someone. The last one I talked to, they said they knew somebody that did some bridge loans or something. They getting a hold of her and see if maybe she can't help me out or something.
Yeah. They're asking to be put to get their position recorded too.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
I just I don't want to have to pay another $20,000 to close on financing $300,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When
So
all
I
I need,
ran it.
you know,
Yeah. I ran into this before. You have an LLC, correct?
a couple of them.
So why don't you just have them loan the money to the LLC so that the LLC
Well,
is
it's not.
responsible should things fall through?
Well, no, it is. Everything's in the LLC. Everything I do is in the LLC.
But
I've
I'm
got one.
saying, but I'm saying when people loan money, they
Yeah.
they loan it, but then there's paper backed up by the house. So they loan it to the LLC and
Yeah.
the collateral is put on the property. I'm saying
Yes.
put the collateral on the business, not on the property, because the property you're already in like second, third position, whatever. Um, yeah,
Yeah. It's not really so much that it's the amount because they're not, you know, it's a small amount. They're not making, much money on it is what, you know what I
yeah.
mean? I
Not
mean,
ideal. What about like just like a personal loan or something like that?
well, that's what I'm trying to find someone that, another private lender or whatever. They think that this girl that they're getting in contact with that does bridge loans that might be interested in doing it. I don't, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. What about just like a normal bank or something? I feel like most private lenders are going to want to be like backed by the real estate somehow, right?
Oh, and I have no problem with that. I'll put them right on the mortgage. That's what I do. They're on the mortgage
Well,
now.
it's
I,
them
I
having a problem with it, right?
they
So,
want right. They want to
but
be on first. first
What if you just
position.
like took a personal loan out from the bank or something like that? Has nothing to do with the property. Not ideal, probably under your name or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, yeah, that's hard,
I guess
you
what's
know.
what's less ideal? Not getting the money and being stuck on a project or getting the money and getting it done. What about like 0% interest credit cards? Something crazy. Again, all sketchy, not ideal or desirable. But like it depends on like where you're at in the project and like what needs to get going, you know?
Hang on, say less, say less. Hey Keith,
Yeah,
did you see that show? Did you see that show Breaking Bad?
no.
It's a joke.
Oh,
It's essentially, I'm going to tell you, I don't even know the drugs that they made. Sean
Oh,
Sandville, you look so handsome.
hello?
it was
Aw,
meth.
thank you.
You look,
It
I don't
was
even,
meth.
It was meth.
it was math. Okay.
That's
Uh,
how he got so handsome. That's what I was saying. Anyways.
Keith needs money. We're trying to figure out how to get him some money. Obviously he's a real practitioner. He needs like 45 to finish one flip, 125 to finish another flip. Keith, I'll tell you this much. The people that ended up loaning me money are all people that know me, know me. So it's my brother and sister. They even forgot that they gave me money because that's just them. And they know the way that I treat money. And then my ex-boyfriend from college also gave me money because he found out that I pay 15%. My dad gave me money I ended up listing my house and I had to sell it because I was out of runway. And at the last minute, my dad gave me the holding cost to hold it for 2 more months to relist it with another agent. So for me, one thing I'll tell you is there was a guy, I'm not going to say his name, very good at getting money, not good at paying it back. I've already said too much. But the thing that he did great on it is he would tell you like the whole story. He would tell you the story. So you'd be like, hey, how you doing? I'm working on this project. You know, a lot of things have gone well, but I'm in a position now where I'm trying to figure out how to do this and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And instead of asking for money directly, essentially you ask them to help you solve the problem with their ideas. And then if they want, it's kind of like a soft sell at that point.
Yeah.
And then they can participate if they want to participate or not. But I definitely think it's important. And I know last week I gave you the homework to have some hot, sexy man date and to talk about your hot, sexy man activities with other hot, sexy men in Maine that are doing big things. How did that go?
You know, all that did is get me involved in building another road.
Well, you can always say no.
Yeah, yeah, no. But yeah, that went all right. Uh,
What about
didn't get
people in your,
nothing, you know what I mean? Nothing, you know, it to get me work,
yeah.
you know, but I mean,
What if you were to ask this person who's giving you work, just ask them, where would you find money to do this? I have 2 flips that I'm currently finishing. I'm at the home stretch. I'm at 85% done. I'm looking for a final 45 to bring it to the finish line. It's a great project in this area. The ARV is this, you know, we're right into the spring market going into the summer. Summer is the perfect time to move when you have children. So yeah, I'm looking to get it done. Who would you recommend? As a lender to do X, Y, and Z. I would ask all the people you know that you have friends with. Maybe even post it on Instagram.
yeah, that was my problem is I gotta stop posting stuff on Instagram, get me out there. So I got more availability of people.
Just talking about what you do and sharing it with people is really important.
Yeah, actually I'm gonna this week here, I get to talk. Actually, we made an appointment for this coming weekend. I got another deal going on. I'm buying another 12 acres of land. It's got 2 trailers sitting on it, a 1 bedroom trailer and a 3 bedroom trailer. Uh, don't need all kinds of work, $5,000-6,000 or so. It's got a 30 by 30 2-car garage that I'm going to split in the middle for the trailers. But the great thing is it's got a Gambriel building,
Mhm.
2-story, 72 feet by 30 feet long. It was a
Wow.
garage and storage. That's going to be 4 units, is what it's going
Wow.
to be.
Whereabouts is this? You're up Maine, right?
Yeah, it's up in Stetson, and
Stetson?
I got the 2 trailers already rented for $2,000. So the guy I used to work with, I've done deals with and stuff. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but he said he'd sell a finance it to me.
What you know about Milo?
Real slow up there.
Yeah, no interest
Real
in
slow.
like 20-ish acre.
Not in Milo. No, no, that's just way too slow up there.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm getting rid of my Airbnb up at Medway. Milo, Medway, Lincoln, all them places up there are, just everything's so slow up there. There's no jobs, you know.
Yeah, this is
Hard.
I was calling somebody about a property in Mass. Does he get anything else? And they have basically like a little hunting cabin, like
Oh,
riverfront up
oh
there
yeah.
on like 30 acres or something. I mean, he's asking like Redfin price, so I can't imagine it's like a good deal. I haven't really done too much looking into it, but you're in Maine, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You keep in mind too, a lot of the guys, no, that's not accurate. Some of the guys that I meet from time to time, they're always like, oh, I want to run away. I want to, when I retire, I just want to get away from people. So there is some desirability out there, even if people don't have active income. Um, I don't know what people are doing out there by themselves, none of my business. But I just realized I didn't put you in touch with Dylan or the other Keith. Do you remember Keith Sheridan?
Yep.
Connecticut, he used to own a business. Yep, retired. So they went in on a corporate rental business together. And
Yep.
I told you I was going to put you in touch with him. I also said I was going to make a directory, and there's a lot of things I haven't done. But anyway, I'll do that right now. But it's Keith, Dylan, and yourself. And I would love for you just to have a conversation, to have them run your whatever that middle of nowhere property is, have them run it, at least for the summer, because I'm sure summer in Maine is beautiful. Anything beyond summer, I think, is a nightmare. But
Yeah.
before you maybe get rid of it, consider that. Just see what they can offer you.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be quick because I think I get it sold. So
Oh, so if
yeah.
you sell that, are you going to have, are you then going to need the 45 and the 120?
Um, yeah and no,
Hmm.
Um, I like doing everything without my money.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have to, I have to well, I say that half the reason I'm in the bind I'm in right now is because I was using my own money.
Yeah.
And, you know, what screwed me up real bad is taxes. I made too much in 23, because I just got them done. And Mr. Taxman hit me up $42,000 I owe, 42 grand. So yeah, I had that great flip of 100 grand. I made $114,000 on that last flip there. $42,000 went to taxes. And then I owed the other guy, my other private lender that helped me buy the Airbnb, I owed him 30,000. Add those two
Wow.
together, how much you got left?
Are you not? So one thing that I'm considering is I just finished the Haverhill flip and I'm closing in about 3 weeks. I have
Nice.
another property I was going to flip, but we ended up having a pipe burst, so that's out of the question. Those two properties will do really well. And so the plan that I had in my head is I bought the Haverhill flip in my personal name. It was a fire sale and then a whole bunch of nonsense. I have a Rhode Island company. Massachusetts wouldn't give me a foreign LLC. And at the last minute, I was like, fuck it, send it. I want it. Whatever it takes, I'll do it. And so as I'm selling it now, because I didn't live in it, I don't have the tax exemption. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sell it for the same price to my LLC and then my LLC to the end buyer on the back end. And so what I'm thinking is whatever the profit is on that one, plus the profit from the other wholesale that I'll do, I'm thinking about selling my personal house to my LLC and then renting out my personal house. And that way I can have it be a wash. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Because you need enough liability to wash out the profit that you're making because 40%, whatever you paid, that hurts.
Oh yeah, no, that's why that if I turn that into a 4 unit and then two other, that's 6 units. My goal was to make buy 8 more rentals this year. So that's
Yeah,
six of them.
yeah.
And with 8 rentals, I talked to my CPA with it. I can make that work and get rid of my tax obligation, this
Okay,
coming year here,
beautiful.
but it just one of those things. I was working too much. You know what I mean? That's what he told me. Justin, Keith, you stop working. Stop working. Do your real estate, he says, which
Yeah,
is you're right, you know what I mean? But I mean, the job was just too good money, not to do it. So
yeah.
live and learn.
Sean Stanville, clue me in.
So,
What's up with you?
Uh, I don't know. We're still
You look
wholesaling.
you look different, and I can't figure
I
out why.
I look different.
Yeah.
It's because he's super
Uh,
jacked. Look at that chest, dude.
No,
Probably
his
because I'm
titties have
like
only been.
it's probably because I'm more stressed than I've ever been. But like, no, we're still wholesaling. We're in the process of trying to scale that this year. We kind of like expanded to nationwide, but still with a focus in New England.
Mhm.
So we have, I gotta look at my CRM. We have two condos in Stamford, Connecticut that we're supposed to close on either this week or next week for wholesales. We're closing on a sub two in Merrimack, New Hampshire, like 20 minutes up the street from me, that we're gonna flip because that's a quick condo flip. Um, what else we got? We have two seller finance deals in Sarasota, Florida that we're trying to dispo right now. But those have been a pain in the ass because do you know Ashley, the girl that kind of like works with me? She's up in Maine.
What's her last name?
Gagne.
Oh yeah, yeah. I call her Ganjay.
Yeah, yeah. No, she she locked those up way too high, so we're trying to sell those. But those
You said seller finance on those?
yeah, but she locked them up way too high. So like Florida's doing this fantastic thing right now where all of there's so much freaking inventory on the market that all of the prices are just going down like crazy. So, I mean, it was a good learning experience for her. She won't do it again.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then we're trying to sell a uh like a really shitty single family in West Memphis, Arkansas. We have the buyer for that. They just need to sign the assignment contract. And then what else? I'm trying to lock up a 4 unit in Manchester, New Hampshire, and sell that to one of my buyers. And yeah, I don't know. We're kind of doing a mix of everything like right now. Like we're wholesaling still, but we're also like flipping. And then our marketing's kind of a mix of most of it's PPL. We're running or getting a PPC campaign started right now. So that kind of sucks because it takes like 3 months to season or
Right.
whatever before they get
Yeah.
it optimized and all that shit. So it's like we're burning $10,000 a month doing that, waiting for that, and then we're door knocking pre foreclosures right now. That is like my what's the way to describe it? That's like my like last ditch, like my fail safe. If everything else fails in life, I'm just gonna door knock pre foreclosures because I genuinely enjoy that.
Isn't Jonathan Fothergill also doing that?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you
He
doing that
lives like
together?
Uh, not like as a team, but kind of in like tandem because we work the same areas pretty much. Like, well, he does Mass, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire versus like I'm just focused on New Hampshire, and I'll do a little bit of Massachusetts if it's like 5-10 minutes away from me. But I mean, we collaborate on a bunch of stuff, or like we'll just like exchange notes on shit.
Yeah.
But like where he's a part of like the niche community. So anything like he's the one that really got me into doing the door knocking.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I know he's a raving fan of it. I'm personally not built for that, but I've heard of him locking up deals and he loves it and that's a
I
lot of fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
I it's the fastest way I've found to acquire a deal. Like, cause he goes out knocking a lot more than I do, but like my metrics, cause like I actually track my KPIs now, so that's cool. But yeah, but my metrics for door knocking is one in every 29 doors knocked is a deal. So
Really?
That's
like,
hot.
yeah, yeah. So if
No
you
shit.
knock 5 doors a day, it's a deal a week, pretty much. And so like that's what John was doing. Like he got kind of like flooded with fix and flips. Like he has like Tony, I don't know if you know the number, like 6 or 7, right? Going on right now.
Yeah, he had two in Bill Ricka like on the same street back to back that were like killer deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got 5 or 6 of those going right now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, pretty much we're just trying to like get the marketing side of things figured out because like PPL was treating us really good last year and then they kind of fell off a bit. I mean, they're still decent leads and like we'll still get deals out of them, but it's not consistent. We kind of stepped away from doing all the cold collar stuff, the VAs, everything like that, just because like the return was trash. So now we're just moving over to like CPC and just
So
betting on that.
PPL, is that the I speed to lead stuff?
Yeah, yeah, that's treated us really, really well because we have a great relationship with the owner.
You know,
So
Gene is from New Hampshire.
yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah,
He was at,
he wants a sub 2 deal in New Hampshire.
why? He wants to come back?
Yeah, his family's still out here.
Yeah. He's funny. I think he came up to the second or third meetup that we did.
Hmm.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
good
he was
people.
talking to us about that.
Yeah, he's always been good people to us. So yeah, I'm surprised that you guys are moving into, so PPL is your a la carte I speed to lead. And then
Hmm.
is PPC, that's like the enrollment program that they're going to take care of everything for you for 10,000 a month.
Well, it's just Google Ads, right? So like
Mhm.
we use Bateman Collective. So it's $2,500 a month to manage the campaign and then $7,500 a month on ad spend.
Yeah,
So we went with them because there's Drew Tarantino uses
yeah,
them and loves them, and then Jake Burhans and Isaiah they use them and love them, and then every other any like info all the reviews we could find about them were like if you're gonna do PPC like just use Bateman because they're like the gold standard for real estate. So we were like if we're gonna spend that much money a month, we might as well just do it with the people that have the best reputation.
yeah. When you say, so Drew, we know it was always doing well with probate stuff. And then obviously what were they called? I called them the Maple Boys. What's their business
They
name?
were Maple Birch.
Yeah,
But now there's something else. Now their LLC is something else, or their
yeah.
business is something else.
So how well are they doing with Bateman Collective?
They're getting a 10x return on their money every month.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
they're crushing.
for them, because obviously they started fresh with them as well, and then you have the first 3 month ramp up. Do you know their
Mhm.
numbers for the first 3 months? Like, are you on the same par as them? You know what I mean?
No, so I don't know their numbers for what they personally did for the first 3 months, but so we just had a meeting with our rep like maybe a week and a half ago, and he said we're doing pretty well for where we're at because we only started running it beginning of February and they prepared us up front. They were like, hey, look, like while we're getting this dialed in, you could not see any leads for the first, 1, 2, maybe even the third month. And right up until 2 weeks ago, we were getting about a lead a week,
Nice.
which was not typical. And then for the past 2 weeks, we haven't seen anything because they're trying to like they were trying to mess around with like the landing pages and like what keywords they were bidding on and stuff like that. Because like they'll take they have like a form pretty much. So like after you make contact with every lead, they want to know about it, like how motivated is it? Like did they ghost you? Are they actually legit? All that shit. And then they'll cross-reference that with like which landing page did they use, which keywords did they bid on and stuff like that. So like they're trying to dial that in for us now.
So when you say stress, is the stress coming from the 3 month ramp up and it just costing about 10,000 a month to do that? Or where's the stress coming from?
Um I mean, it's probably like it's like not like bad stress. It's all good stress because I'm forcing myself to do shit like outside of my comfort zone. Right? Because like I was super comfortable with PPL because I was like, half of our leads are for free through them, and like it's good lead flow and all that shit. But like I really, really want to scale, and I know it's completely possible to scale to, like 1.2, 1.5 million, like pretty easily if you just dial in your like lead flow. So yeah, I think the stress is just trying to learn, like figure it all out, like figure out how to scale, figure out how to like really train people. Because like I had to like train Ashley on like how to like really talk to sellers and dial in like a sales process, because before she's just good at talking to people, but like didn't have a sales process, so would like get lost along the way, like kind of fuck up negotiations, didn't know how to underwrite, kind of knew how to comp. So I've had to teach her all that stuff. I'm teaching my VA how to like comp and underwrite, because eventually he has really really good English and he has a psychology degree, so we're thinking
Yeah.
about trying to transition him into some sort of acquisitions role, that we can pay for super cheap. And that kid's like super dedicated. He's in the Philippines. His dad is a developer over there and his mom is a real estate broker, so like he loves doing this shit. um, and then, yeah, now I have to. My next challenge is once Kyle finishes getting all the back end shit set up for our new CRM, because going with the PPC stuff, we had to change CRMs completely because the one we were using like wasn't sophisticated enough, I guess, to like run all their marketing and shit. So once he's done that, he's gonna transition into dispositions. So then I have to teach him how to comp, underwrite, do all that shit, and then also figure out how to scale and drive growth in the business. Also,
I
all while not really being good at sales, because that's not my natural thing. Like I've done it because I've had to, but
mm,
like that's a big thing that I'm trying to focus on for pretty much the rest of this year, is get very, very good at sales and talking to sellers, because like that's where I've made that's where I've made all of my money. And like I feel like I'm like right there where I put enough time into it where like I can have a conversation with pretty much any seller, but I'm not at the point yet where I feel like I'm not happy with my closing percentage pretty much.
you are lacking big dick energy. I know, because when you feel it, and you're just like, my shit is hot, my offer is good to go. I got everything you need. Come to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also like we're also looking at doing kind of like Jerry Norton's like takedown method, or like wholesales more. So like we went out and like got 100% funding for any wholesale deals that we want to do, just to try and stay ahead of the rules and regulations that are like coming down for like the wholesaling across the country. Like if that does like end up making its way to here, like the states that we market in, I wanted to like get ahead of that so we could just take the deals down ourselves and list them on market and shit.
Who are you using? How expensive is that money?
We use Jerry Norton. So he's like,
Oh,
I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was running a program where he's trying to get into the lending business like Pace, and he wants to lend to wholesalers to do like the wholesales, or he calls them takedown methods. But to become a I guess he was saying, to become a verified fund, you have to have like proof of history of lending to people successfully. Um, so his thing was, it's like typically like 4 points and then loan docs to like secure 100% funding for the wholesale deals. And just to like sign up with him, it was you put $1,000 like deposit down to hold your spot, and then it gets refunded to you on your first deal, and then you're grandfathered in for 1 point and no loan origination fees for the rest of your life.
how are they making money if you do that then?
Because they're making a small percentage per deal, and they're not even doing it to make money, they're doing it to get people in there so they can get the credibility to become an actual fund and then
That's
go do it.
kind of scary though, because people that grow fast and do that, you get to a point where shit falls apart or falls to pieces. And because your margins are so tiny, it's really hard to get yourself back up to where you need to be. So proceed with caution. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I it's kind of one of those things where it's like it's $1,000, so it's like
Yeah.
okay, whatever. And then at the end of the day, like if it's 100% funding, it's not my money. And if his shit falls apart, then his shit falls apart. Like the worst thing that's gonna happen to me is if his whole shit falls apart and he can't fund a deal, the worst thing that's gonna happen to me is I lose my EMD on a single deal.
You still
So
have to come to the table with the closing fees for that. So he's funding the purchase price and no rehab.
he's doing 100% funding purely for wholesale deals.
Right, but that includes 100% of the purchase price or 100% purchase price and closing costs.
100% of purchase price and closing costs.
God damn.
That's why I jumped on it, because I was like, I don't care if I lose $1,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
and if this works out, I'm like, it just allows us to do more. Like we're looking at a deal in Austin, Texas right now, where I think hopefully Ashley should have it under contract tonight, but we're locking it up at 260. You could probably sell it to a fix and flipper for like 300, but the as is retail value right now is 365. So it's like we just take it down, pay $500 to clean it out, get it listed on market, and then your $40,000 assignment fee becomes a $100,000 spread to a retail buyer.
Yeah. You were talking about going from one CRM to the other. What CRM were you leaving and what CRM are you going to?
So we were using REI Sift, and then we went over to Left Main Plus, which is just like a white label of Salesforce.
Okay.
Um, it's cool. I like it because I'll never have to go to another CRM again, because Salesforce is 100% customizable to anything that you want, and it can do all the automations. And this is the first time I've ever had like drip campaigns for automated follow-ups. So I fucking love that shit.
Are you doing by text message or email follow-ups?
Uh, both. So you can automate both, and then like Kyle's working on he set this whole thing up, but he's working on there's like an AI assistant called like Bardine, and he's programming it to like go into like all of the public county records, like the trustee sites for the foreclosure sales. So like the AI will go in, scrape all that data, populate it into our CRM, like scrub for any duplicates, and then it will make updates to it as they change across the sites and shit. So we're trying to get all that automated so we don't have to do it anymore.
I wonder if Nick or your brother Kyle should talk to Nick Stanley, because Nick Stanley, I think, is doing something like that. You,
Yeah, they've talked before. I know they have.
yeah, yeah. I think he was doing a lot with WooSender, but then things changed. So he's working on, I don't know, but he's super genius. You know that. Your
Yeah.
brother, same thing. So put them together, throw some sugar at them, and they'll be fine.
Yeah. Throw some sugar at them.
You know, the brain runs on sugar. It's like live off gummy bears. They'll be fine. McTizik,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me the reason why you still work your 9 to 5 job 4 years later after I've met you?
No preference.
No what?
Personal preference,
Personal preference. Why you keep licking your lips?
because I'm LL Drool J. What do you mean, why do I lick my lips? I don't
I
want
don't
them
know.
dry.
Maybe you should leave them dry so they get stuck together so you can't tell me terrible things like why you're not leaving your job. What are you working on currently?
Besides my job,
Yeah, besides your job.
there's a flip in Montgomery, Mass. We're working on, as well as another flip in Essex.
Is that Western Massachusetts? And that's with Palm?
Yeah.
What are those two deals?
What do you mean,
Single
where-
family, multifamily?
Single family.
What's the size?
The Montgomery one is 2,300 square feet, about almost 2 acres. And I don't know the specifics of the Essex, but I gotta look it up.
One of the things that we were talking about last week was your year defining goal. So there's a guy out there, he talks about this, but a couple of things, your year defining goal. And then he also talks about doing a couple of adventures, right? Every other month, do something you don't normally do. So last week we were talking about your year defining goal, but one of the things that I think I'm going to work on this year is having 6 new things that I've never done before, business wise. So a couple things I'm thinking of is like, one, I want to try a new build. I think I'm going to do like a garage for myself with a loft. Something else I want to try are the ADUs because Massachusetts changed the way they do ADUs out here. So you can have plumbing, you can have sanitation, you can have a kitchen, you can have a sleeping space, and it's not, like permits are not a problem. I think it increases the value of the house without increasing the taxes. There's more that I need to learn. I have a girlfriend, Pamela Barty, who does shipping containers out of Boston, Massachusetts, the Revolution Girl, and she's like pioneering it. She was also part of the legislation that made it more favorable in Massachusetts. So I'd really love to know more about that. But new build, ADU, and then I really want to do an auction this year. I've never been to a house when you like argue with men on the front lawn. I want to try that one time. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But the other fun part is now that because we do creative stuff, the other cool part is if I do know about an auction, to try to secure the deal before the deal goes to auction, because obviously auction is terrible for their credit. They get spanked for 7 years on their credit score. And so if there's a way to wheel in deal prior to auction, then technically I should be doing that. But out of the 6 goals, those are the 3, I guess, professional things that I want to do this year. New build, ADU, and fight with men on a front lawn somewhere over a house. Buy it sight unseen.
Why do
Maybe
I feel
get
like you already do that, Sharky?
what?
Why do I feel like you already fight with men on the front lawn of a house?
Yeah, I know, but I was like, this fight too. Like fighting with strangers, I think is even more fun because you don't know them. You don't know, there's an element of surprise there. I don't know, but I also think I'm a little bit worried because I'm very competitive. And so obviously I don't want to pay a terrible price for a house. I watched Abraham Gray talk about, what do you call it? Super Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, things go to foreclosure. And so his team goes out, they get an idea if the house is occupied, not occupied, what the condition is of it. They talk to the neighbors. So they have like an ARV and then they have a max allowable offer. And it was kind of fun watching him just sitting at a computer trying to win a house. But it looked like a lot of fun. I think he does his by auction.com, but I know that Massachusetts is different. You got to fight on a front lawn. And I just think, let me do one time. Let me just see. Maybe I'll go to jail, maybe not. Maybe it'll be fun, maybe not. Maybe I'll buy a, what do you call it? A money pit, maybe not, but we'll see. Yeah. So those are the 6 things I want to do this year. So the goal is every other month to do something you don't normally do. Right? It doesn't have to be a year defining thing that happens, just something new that you want to try business wise. Keith, can I start with you? What comes to mind when I ask you to make a list of 6 things that business wise you haven't done before, that maybe you're curious about, that maybe you can tackle like within 2 months?
In a couple of months.
Or however, take as much time as you want to take, but
Well, a couple of my goals this year is number 1 is to do a flip out of state. I'm gonna do a flip. I keep saying that. I'm gonna do a flip out of state. At least one
why?
house. Huh?
Why?
Because because I want it. Because I
Do
want
you,
it. I'd
do
like
you-
to get into a better market than it's
Yeah.
it's hard to scale where I am here. You know what I mean? Unless you get building, and it takes so long to start, like Natapong and Scott, you know what I mean? These guys have been doing it for years, you know what I mean? They've been doing it for 10 years now, 10, 12 years. And oh yeah, now that they've got momentum, you know what I mean? But it takes a long time to really get going. So I'd just like to get maybe in a better market someplace. I've always wanted to try something down in North Carolina or whatever. Been looking,
Do
but
you own property out of state?
no,
You don't snowbird yet?
not yet.
So you heard Sandville, he has two Sarasota properties that are seller finance. Obviously, they're a little bit locked up a little bit higher, but what?
Don't buy them.
Don't
Don't
buy them?
Don't buy them
Because why?
because they're locked up too high, and Florida is a depreciating market, and you'll never make your money back.
Yeah,
All very good reasons. What the hell is happening to Florida?
There's too much inventory on the
Yeah,
market,
but
and
how is that possible?
because they won't insure properties down there. A lot of insurance companies are
Oh,
pulling out from the hurricanes. Um, and like even there was another property in Sarasota that we were gonna try and lock up, but the towns are now like mandating that if you have damage from the hurricane and exceed and the cost of renovation exceeds 49% of the value of the building, you have to by law now build up to the new code that they've made for hurricanes. So like building up on stilts, doing everything from the ground up again. A lot of people can't afford it. So like it the market is absolutely saturated down there. And
mm.
like you can see the prices are just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping because there's so much competition.
I also feel like isn't that a good time to buy, but like make it work for you?
Yeah, yeah, if it works for you. If you want to hold it for, the next 10 years, maybe 5, 10 years, it just depends what your
I've
goal
ne-
is.
you're
I've
gonna
never
find the
been to.
bottom first. You find the bottom
Yeah,
first, and then you buy.
Hmm.
yeah,
So we're not at the bottom yet.
No,
no.
I'm just thinking in my head, what would it take for us to get to the bottom?
Give it like 6 to 8 more months.
Okay. The thought that I had is the first thing I thought of is, wouldn't it be funny if people dressed up like aliens and then ran around the neighborhood? Maybe that would be the tipping point for some sellers. I don't know. I just think what would it take? What would it take to get to the bottom? We'll find out.
time.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with those two? Are you within your inspection period to be able to get your EMD back on those?
No, no,
No.
that's out the window. So, I mean,
Why
we're
didn't
gonna
you?
try and find a buyer.
Yeah. Why didn't you cancel
That's
before?
um great question. I should have, I wanted to, and the biggest thing was she locked them up without ever seeing pictures of them. So we were trying to get pictures because we
Mhm.
had a bunch of interested parties and until they saw the pictures. So we got pictures, but we didn't get pictures until a day after the inspection period ended. So it is what it is. I mean, if I lose my EMD, I lose my EMD. Like
How much is it?
it was $1,000 for each one.
That's not bad. I think a
No,
thousand
it's
is
not
kind of the
terrible.
gold standard, and then you only increase it if they're demanding more. I think I put 100 down for something else. I was like, here's $1. It's binding in Massachusetts once you have consideration, but yeah, unless it's a cash deal or like even probate, I wouldn't put big money down on unless they ask for it. They push for it.
Yeah.
I wonder. No, I don't think that's a good option for you. If it's seller finance and if you could get it to cash flow, that might be a good option. But if you have to wait 10 years for it to pay off and the contract is too high, yeah.
The cash flow is there. So she did a good job of negotiating a good cash flow and a good cash on cash return. The thing that she fucked up was the balloon period. Yeah. So
What is it?
it's 5 years, which is not freaking ideal. And I've told her for like ever needs to be a minimum of 7. I don't know. It's enough time for the market to adjust and correct and do all that shit. But I'm like, when Pace and Abraham Gray both say that the minimum that they'll look at is like 7 years, I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's a freaking reason for that.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's a good learning experience for her. She's kind of like a wild card. She locks up great shit, but then also like does stupid shit too.
It's how you learn. She's the one who I'm talking with about Praise or PA?
Paris, yeah, about the Z thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met her. She's like 40 and has a fiance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did you meet her at Boston?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stratton, what's good with you?
Nothing. I was just trying to think of a way out for Sean. So you're already through your due diligence period?
Yeah.
You can't extend the closing
We might be able to extend the closing.
with the new diligence period?
I haven't asked them yet, but that's an idea.
I've done that before.
So what, you basically just send out an addendum, restructure the whole due diligence period and close of escrow?
You went in sight
Okay.
unseen, right? And you were trying to get photos and you locked it up, expecting one thing and you got a second thing. I would probably go
Yeah.
back to the seller with that as like the reason, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I mean our due diligence period only ended on Friday, so like we're not that far out from it.
They were late on giving you pictures.
We couldn't get access because he had tenants in there. So he kind of dicked around on his side, getting somebody in to see the property and get pictures. So yeah.
Would you change it to an offer to purchase instead of a PNS with the inspection period? Wouldn't that be safer to do it that way?
I don't even
No.
know what an offer to purchase is.
Maybe is that a Massachusetts only thing?
It's
Mark?
definitely a mass thing. I don't know if it's mass only, but mass you go to offer first and then a PNS.
Like an
Oh,
agreement for
okay.
sale? Is that what you're saying?
No, Tiz, you remember we used to do this back in the day where it was like, I want to make you an offer, but I don't want to commit and I don't want to put money down. What did we call those? I have it. I have it somewhere.
LOI?
I can't even search for it.
Not a letter of
Option
intent?
contract? Option contract,
Option
right?
contract. It wasn't offer to purchase. It was an option.
I haven't done that shit in so long. I have an option contract. If you want one, I would move to that.
That's the best, well, not the best possible option, but that's good shit right there.
It's more like psychology based because I don't think an option contract is enforceable. It's like a one pager thing. It's kind of more like a psychological thing to say we're in bed together, but it gives you a way out. But I would, yeah, talk to them. Given the climate, obviously, market is saturated, hurricanes galore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're gonna try and either renegotiate the term length because that's where people were having the real big issue on. So we're either gonna do that, or I liked what Stratton said of extending and just kind of redoing it.
Is it an attorney state? Are you
Uh,
talking directly with the seller? I don't
Florida-
think
yeah,
it's attorney state, is
Florida's
it?
not an attorney state.
Yeah. So it should be, as long as you have an established relationship with the seller, like, I mean, I've never, and I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant, but I've never put I mean, I've done a due diligence for like commercial properties and stuff like that, but I don't have a due diligence period in any of the purchase and sales that I put together. For that reason, so that I don't ever have to run into that situation. And I forget how I word it, but I could send you the way that I've put it together so that you could always get out if you can't perform on it.
yeah. If you could send me that, that'd be awesome. Because yeah, I think we just have like the basic inspection period or something.
Yeah, I think we have something worded like it's like I think it's like essentially we say like that we'll either close within 60 days, but if we don't, I forget how it's worded, that we have the option to extend, but we don't have a due diligence period in there, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that gives me. If I can't renegotiate the term, then that's a really, really good backup.
And you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure I have a copy of your contract because I pulled it from public records one time because I'm a little creep like that. And I was looking at
On
houses,
which property?
something in New Hampshire, but it popped up and I was like, oh my God, I know this person. It was, I don't know, it was good. I saved it. I never looked at it since. But anyway, I probably have it already. What a creep. I know.
Wait, my contract or Sean's?
Your contract.
The one for Six
What?
Cannon?
No, 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 no. You were doing quite a bit of stuff in New Hampshire. And at one point I was looking at a property, trying to figure out like what happened to it. And then I saw your name, whatever your name was, popped up. I think you're like, your name popped up, not your company's name. Cause I don't, oh no, I do know Unlocked.
Hmm.
Let me search it. Yeah, purchase and sales with assignment.
Is it our cash one?
No, this is for 14 Lovewell Street, Nashua. It's old, I think.
Ludwig.
Susan Moy.
I
Susan
don't even.
Mole, MOL.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Nash.
it's an old one. Anyway, what a creep. I got it though.
Was that? I wonder if was that the one I locked up for like 60 grand?
No, 307.
Huh. I don't know.
I'll send it to you. I don't know how I found this one. Oh yeah, the closing shall occur on or before 60 days from the execution of this agreement or within 30 days of locating a third-party buyer at Sweeney Law Offices, Nashua, or some other place of mutual consent as agreed to in writing, full possession and occupancy of the premise with all keys, blah, 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 blah.
That's it. I think we might have added something in there in the last year. Can't remember. We ran into some situation, so we changed the language a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Like, yeah.
I'll send it to you, and then if you want to share it with everyone, we can do that. You know me, I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder.
I don't care.
I like, I think,
You're a creep and a hoarder.
you know what it was? I think I was trying to find more about Sweeney because Sweeney was coming to Creative Elite at one point, and then it was like a whole debate if we could get him or not get him. Something was
Oh
going on.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
at one point, I think I was getting mixed reviews on his, isn't it like One Ace Title or something? What's his company?
So Sweeney title, Ace title is a different title company out of Manchester.
Yeah. I think I was just looking at him and that's when I came up and I was like, oh, Stratton, I know this guy. So anyway, I screenshotted, I have it.
Yeah, we basically got that whole back end of his company doing sub-2 deals like 2.5, 3 years ago. He was like, "Yeah, I'm open to it." I met with him in his office, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm open to it. I think I've done a couple of those a long time ago." And then all his girls didn't know how to put together the HUD, and that was fun. But that was around that time. I think it was like 6 months, I don't know, or a year after that was like around Creative Elite. So,
Yeah.
Anywho,
I'll send it to you.
he's pretty good. He's probably the best. The best that him, and I would say Phoenix title is pretty good too.
Isn't that the one in Arizona that Pace has?
Megan?
No, this is through Megan Allerud, Nick's wife.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep,
she's
yep.
pretty good. Yep.
Okay. No, she's good when it comes to investors, obviously, because she is one. Stratton, when I say I want to try 6 new things this year, business-wise, what comes to mind for you? Is there anything new that you want to try, something that you want to dabble in?
Close a deal that AI set an appointment for me on.
That seems easy enough.
We're almost there, but that's kind of like been my dream for a while, or not my dream, but that sounds kind of corny. But yeah, kind of like a goal. I just think it would be
Okay.
cool. So yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
So
that.
you just want AI to set the lead, but you'll do all the closing, just generate the lead for you?
Yeah, so we've been working on this frickin' figuring out how to do cold calling with AI effectively for like 6 months. And we've kind of figured it out. And so now we're to the point of the leads are coming in, and and then using AI to respond, training AI to respond to the leads in a correct way that kind of aligns with our approach. And when they get to a certain point, kind of going through a little intake process of like 3 or 4 questions through text messaging, and then then AI is basically setting an appointment in my calendar.
What service is that called?
I don't know. I don't do a lot of back end stuff.
Is
That's
that
Noli.
Noli?
Yeah,
Got
Noli
it.
does all that. But yeah, it's we're using Go High Level, and it's some integration that we've been like tuning and working through and figuring out how to yeah, put the right commands in. I should bring it to one of our meetings and show you guys what it's doing. It's pretty cool.
How do you
Well,
like Go
that's
High
awesome.
Level?
I like freaking Podio. That I think
Okay.
Podio, I miss the Podio days. Like it was like I miss the days that I mean, this was like literally just a year ago. Like I missed the days a year ago where I was literally using Podio and my cell phone, and everybody on my team was using their cell phone to cold call. That's kind of how we always done things. And then like since then we've changed CRMs and have really focused on how to like scale and really streamline what we're doing more effectively and trying to be more modern and getting away from being old school and all that sort of stuff. But it's okay. I mean, for me, it's like kind of complex, and being in like acquisitions, for me, there's so many nuances, and like the biggest thing for me, like being in acquisitions and is that a few deals have fallen through the cracks where, like let's say I get on a call, I have like a meeting with somebody on like a Thursday or Friday, and I set an appointment for like the following Monday or something like that. And what I've also adopted is stop using my notebook and trying to use technology to record, you know what I mean, keep track of my life instead. And there's been a couple times where I've lost the lead and I like can't find it. You know what I
Really?
mean? I'm like, I remember
Yeah.
the first name, or I remember like the address or the town or whatever, and we have like thousands of leads in there and I'm not able to find it. That's been like and it's probably a user error, and I'm just not good at I'm just kind of old school, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most frustrating part, has been like managing the leads. Like, I don't know. I just liked how simple Podio was. But
Yeah, I bought into like someone's white label of it, and I just haven't transferred over because it seems like it would get confusing if you have a lot of leads. If you have like 50 or 100 leads and you're moving them through like Kanban style, like the tiles that you can slide over. I don't know. I'm using Follow Up Boss right now, and that's just like what I'm used to. So I haven't gotten my
yeah,
foot to switch.
yeah. I mean, it's probably I'm starting to get like the learning curve on it. I mean, we adopted it back in July, I think, of last year, and I'm just now starting to feel comfortable with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's just like it's a slow process. Transfer things over slowly. Like don't expect to. I mean, we were like, we're gonna transfer everything over and it's gonna be up and running because everything seemed like it was just super simple. And we're like, we'll have everything transferred over in like a month or two. And yeah, 6 months later, just or
How
a
it
longer
goes.
than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it because like the AI texting and stuff like that. Honestly, I might try to set it up and just import some lists that I'm also cold calling into for the AI texting. And then if they generate leads, I might just push them in a Follow Up Boss, to be honest. But
Mm.
if it's something that I don't have to work on and I can generate leads, I'm here for it,
Yeah. And Go High Level has, like, for us, they're, from what I've understood, is they really set up and capitalize on people doing like land, doing outreach for land, direct to agent, and inbound leads. Like if you're doing a lot of cold calling, that's one of been our biggest challenges, is like figuring out, because of I forget what it's called, but like, the regulations and shit for cold texting and all that jazz,
Yeah.
like setting that up. Once we set that up, like we had a complete drop off of conversion for a good 5 months, you know what I mean? And trying to work through that and trying to figure out how to convert with that stupid, please opt out message at the bottom that kills
Yeah.
us every single time. So we've it's not really, there's not a lot of, if you need help, right, with the cold calling part of it, let me know, because there's not a lot. We've been banging our heads, for a while trying to figure out how to do it effectively, and there's just not a lot of information out there, or even people within Go High Level, whatever, that can help or that knows how to get around that sort of stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in my ways. I'm probably just gonna keep cold calling with like Mojo Dialer.
Yeah.
and then push leads in my CRM through that. But I'm thinking maybe I just set that up for texting only, because whatever platform of it I have, like supposedly I can send like 10,000 texts a day through it. So I want to implement that, but
Yeah. Yeah, if I could do it over, I would have tried to do the changeover like in the down month, like, you know, November, from November to March. You know what I mean? That's when to make it. I should have made a major switch, not in freaking July, but
yeah,
live
it's
and
all
learn.
good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nice,
Yeah.
man.
So that's one. Two, I don't know. I'd like to buy a freaking campground this year. Get a creative deal under campground under contract, close on it. That would be cool.
How do you define campground? What is that? 10 acres, something with pads, raw land?
Yeah, a little. I mean, yeah, cabins, maybe some RV like hookups, maybe some extra land that could be like glamping type of setup, clubhouse, you know, I don't know, that kind of stuff. Buy some water, maybe. That'd
Okay.
be cool.
I like it.
I don't have 6 things though. I don't know. That's
I only have three, and technically this whole thing I think was supposed to be like a personal thing. So it's called Kevin's rule, and his whole thing is I think he does like a lot of camping. So every other month he goes to a new place with his kids. And that's what he calls Kevin's rule. But to take time out to go on an adventure that you would not normally do. That way at the end of the year you have 6 new experiences you would not have had otherwise. So to be intentional about pushing yourself to explore new things. Those are the things that you want, but I think in everyday life we find a reason why not to do it, or just life takes over. But to make it kind of a rule of thumb, every 2 months, carve out time, do something new, different.
yeah. Yeah, it's important.
So when I was picking mine, I was like, damn, all of mine are business related. So then I was like, well, let me make you all pick business related shit. But you can absolutely do it as a personal thing. The other part too is when I finished the hay roll flip, initially I was like dead on the inside. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I thought I would be inspired and something else would happen. But at the time, I wasn't selling for a good price. I was selling for a break even number. And then the next flip I had lined up had a pipe burst. And even that was hit or miss, 50-50, maybe close, maybe not close. And so I didn't have a lot of joy when it came to real estate. And so figuring out what to do next, I had no idea. And so that's also why I'm interested in like Kevin's rule, because if I do something new, then, you know, it's a new experience. It's a new opportunity for me to get feedback to figure out whether or not it's something I want to pursue more or make new friends. But for me, I think this year I'm trying to give myself as many opportunities as possible, because that's how I figure out what I want to do. Is I have to have a feeling towards an opportunity, and the answer is either yes or no. But if I have no opportunities coming my way, then what am I doing? A whole bunch of nothing. Yeah.
I like it.
Tiz, unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Now that your lips are lubed up, what 6 things, if you were to think of 6 new things that you want to do this year, that you're actually
I
going
don't
to
have
do this
6.
year?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't have 6. Like Stratton, I think I have a couple. One of them is to do some sort of developing, and
How do you define developing?
uh, getting some land and building on it. And you mentioned the garage loft thing. I've been looking at that for the past 6 months. That's just, for me, that's like, I don't want to sound corny, but that's just like genius. You know what I'm saying? That's the next level. Just straight up a garage and then living area.
Listen, I can see it in my head. This is the part that
I think they should put, I think they should put those like, not like the mini houses, but they should make like a whole area of just like garage lofts. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like they have those, like those barn dominiums, right? So I've seen people selling the metal shells. Actually, Megan Bissonio, and then was her Ryan Favreau out of Worcester. He moved from doing construction stuff to selling those like metal packages. But I think those are like Keith, you were talking about like the 30 foot by 72 foot. Isn't that a barn dominium that you're going to put 4 units into?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, there was a garage and storage for the guys.
So it's a steel frame, right? Or a metal frame?
No, this one is a Gambriel, it's wood.
I gotta look up Gambriel. What is that? That's not that
It's a
posted
it's a,
beam.
it's a four-sided roof. You know, it comes
Oh,
down, goes up,
yeah. I
Gambriel,
gotcha. I gotcha.
for
Okay.
headspace. They make it for headspace on top, second floor.
But I almost feel like Gambrel is kind of terrible for New England because the whole point in having like a gabled roof is to shed snow. I get
Oh,
the
this is,
headspace. I get it,
oh, that,
but
Gambriel will shed all kinds of snow.
that's true. Okay. I call those the Dutch houses. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, Tiz, I have, so Sean Sandville sold me this house almost 2 years ago, air high five. May something is going to be our 2 year anniversary here. And I can't do anything with the property because I just can't. The foundation is doo-doo, and that's okay. But I love the neighborhood. And so I've been thinking a lot about doing, I have an electric car and there's no place to charge it. And then I'm at the end of a dead end street. And my car's always in the freaking way whenever they come to plow. So I'm thinking about doing a 2-car garage with a kitchen on the first floor and then stairs going up to the second floor that has a living room, bathroom in the corner, and then obviously the bedroom. And I have the HVAC in my head. I've ran all the plumbing on one side of the house. I've done the sewer tie-in or the septic extension for the sewer tie-in. So I've thought about this a lot because I can't work on this house. So I have plans for that, and I can definitely share that with you. So that's what I'm trying to do is figure out new build for Merrimack because my neighbors are lovely, lovely people. My dog loves it. It's the whole reason why I bought the house. So yeah, so 2 options are go find a new house, which that's going to be hard to find good neighbors and something Rupert will love, or do this. So,
Cool. Yeah, I'm in.
all right. So developing, meaning ground up building, right? What else for you?
Uh, something personal. Hopefully quit my damn job.
This boy has been saying this for the last 4 years. For those that don't know, Tiz is my leader when I started, and he's the reason why I am who I am.
I'm still your leader.
You're still my leader, but I
I
might have
just,
surpassed you. So what the hell? Isn't that embarrassing, Tiz?
you're the alpha in the room in between me and you. I'll let you be the alpha.
Me,
But
me and my 4 strap-ons,
whatever
just
with
the way you like it.
hey, whatever
Sorry.
with your big dick energy bullshit. But anyway.
Listen, Big Dick Energy was year 1, and I still got it. This year is authenticity. That's what I'm after. I just want to be me. And then I realized I did a lot of people pleasing. Like that was also a reason why I'm good at acquisitions, but also terrible at acquisitions because I pretty much want to lick people on the booty hole at this point because I'll give them everything and then some. And that gets me into trouble. So
Yeah, look out for number 1.
yeah, people pleasing for sure. Yeah. So new build, right?
Yep.
And your personal job. You've been saying that for a long time.
I know. There's
What's it gonna take for you to actually pull the plug on that?
for me to hold at least 2 more properties.
Okay, hang on. Let's go back a little bit. You have a property, right? And you renovated 1 unit for yourself, so you're house hacking. And how many? 3 or 4? 3?
It's a 3-family. I just turned it into a 4-family.
Cool.
Huh?
And you live in 1 and you rent
Yep.
only 1, and then you have 2 more units to rent.
Correct.
So what'd you say like 2 seconds right before this? You wanted to what?
I said, I need to hold 2 more properties. No, calm down, killer. Not 2 more doors, 2 more properties.
Okay, and are the
Yeah.
properties, so how many doors total are you saying?
Um, for me to walk away from my gig, I would probably need at least 10 doors.
And technically, you're sitting on 3 right now.
Technically, yes.
You
So,
could also become homeless and then you would have 1 more unit to rent.
hey, you're right. That's the goal too. I'm not gonna be homeless, but I plan on getting the hell up out of here.
You
So
could
this,
live out of your car, Tiz.
I'm not gonna do that.
I don't know
I
if you
could,
want this bad enough, Tiz. Can you be part-time? Is that an option?
my gig?
Yeah.
I don't think I can be part-time manager now.
Why not? No other branches do that?
No.
Being managers kind of sucks. It's a lot of work.
It does, but I mean, I don't, it's not that hard. It's simple. You just have to have the right pieces in place. And, like anything, it's a team and you're as strong as your fucking weakest link. But, that's the goal. I'm gonna get there. I got some other shit put in place,
You got some what?
some other plans put in place.
Okay. How did you come up with 10 doors?
That's the number that makes sense for me.
Because you can count up to 10?
Yeah,
You don't know how to count more than that?
because sometimes I'm
You
Asian.
used up all your fingers and you're like, I don't
Hey,
know where to go. So I
because
guess we're
hey,
doing 10.
because because I'm just as smart as some Asians.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right. So 10 doors. What else can you do? Like, what's a half step before getting to 10 doors?
What's a what?
What's like a half step? Like, what can you do that can commit you in this direction that's like more than you thinking about doing 10 doors? Like, what would the next step be for you to get traction in this direction?
Let's see. For me to finish this flip would give me traction.
Why are you flipping when you have 2 units to finish at your house?
Why not?
Well, it's taking away from finishing the 2 units at your house.
Not necessarily. So I did have 2 tenants. One of them moved out. And once she moved out, she basically had an upstairs and downstairs. Once she moved out, I just cut it in half or blocked it off. And now that's enabling me to do 2 units.
So I get that. I get that. But you also have a blank unit that's ready to go, or that's the one that you tore down to the studs. How come you're not like finishing that unit to then rent it out, to then separate the two, to then finish each of them?
So the one you saw down to the studs is the one that she moved out of. I don't know if you remember, but there's one upstairs also that I cut off. I'm 95% done with that.
Okay.
So me doing that as well as me doing the flip, I mean, it's not taken away from me doing what I'm doing here. I just needed to have enough resources to knock it out. And like I said, 95% done. Um, I got the inspector coming hopefully next week so I can start the bottom one. And I'm giving myself a month to finish that bitch. Excuse my language.
No, excused.
And
Oh.
that's the traction, in my opinion, that I need to jumpstart this thing. And like you said, I'm not gonna get comfortable. I really, really, I'm glad I'm gonna be leaving this apartment here. I just wanted to experience something nice that I like looking at, that I like living in. I know it's not ideal. You're supposed to just make sure your apartments are what they are just for the tenant, but whoever's getting this is getting something plush.
No, I like having higher standards than slumlord. Yeah, I do. I think at the end of the day, if you really want to make it, your name is your brand. You're associated with these properties. It's a relationship business. Especially if you want good tenants, right? You never know where the next lead or opportunity is going to come from. And so definitely like you have a rep to protect. So why would you, yeah, and you're fabulous. We know you're fabulous. Fabulous and soft and silky and shiny. So of course your property is going to be all that and then some.
So the crazy thing is, the other ones, they're not as good as this one, but they're close, very close to it.
So I wonder, lately I've been talking a lot about Dylan, but that's just because of what I'm hearing him do for midterm rentals. Are you familiar with midterm rentals?
Am I?
Yeah.
Not that much, no.
What are midterm rentals? What do you think they are?
They're above short-term rentals.
Oh, that a boy. So, so short-term rentals are your Airbnb. A
Yeah,
lot of people thought, you know, you make a shit ton of money, but then when they're not, what they don't realize is all of the activity that goes into running them and then the cost to also run it and get that kind of money. Then in the middle, you have corporate rentals. So what's her name? I don't know. There were a couple people in sub two that made it big on corporate rentals. Tanisha Epps was one of them.
yeah.
And then up here we have Dylan Svedgek, Mr. Mustache Man. And he's doing that. And so he actually converted an Airbnb into a midterm rental. And it was way better because those people are going to be in place longer and the money's coming from insurance. So it's not even coming from them. And they're paying kind of through the roof for that. So it sounds really awesome. I like the idea of midterm rentals. I'm curious to know rather than putting in a long-term tenant, because long-term tenant is on this side. You got your short-term, which is like hot and sexy, but lots of expenses. And then you got the midterm stuff, which sounds really good right now. And I think it's a good option to explore.
And that's what you said Dylan does?
Yes.
I thought he was big on co-living.
Are we talking about the same guy? He has a
Dylan,
mustache, new baby. He's from like southern East Connecticut, southeast Connecticut. Military guy.
I don't know what
30,
I don't know what he does like that, but yeah, I thought he was on one of the Thursday calls and started talking about co-living. Maybe I'm talking about some other good.
Stratton is doing co-living.
I know that, but I think
Okay.
this other gentleman came on a few months ago. I could be wrong, but
Anyway,
you said this cat's from Connecticut?
yeah, he's from Connecticut. Yeah. Like Groton. I'm not good at geography, but I'm pretty sure it's like Groton because he was in the military. He
Does he
just
work
got
with
out.
Drew?
No, he works with Keith Sheridan.
Okay.
By the way, where
Um,
the hell has Drew been anyway?
I don't know.
Where's that boy?
I haven't talked to Drew in a minute.
Sandville, you talked to him?
Yeah. He's just, I don't know, working, running his business.
Is he
Like
working with
he
his brother? I thought he was working with somebody. I just don't know who it is.
oh, he works with Mo. Like I know Mo does calls for him and stuff. But no, he's just I don't know. He's just like kind of in his own little world, like running his business, crushing it in Connecticut. Like he doesn't really hop on the accountability calls much. And when he does, he's there for like, 20, 30 minutes. But yeah, I know that dude he's in his own little world down in Connecticut and just like crushes it down there.
Yeah, I've seen him or Mo and him collaborate on some shit. So
Yeah.
Good for them. I mean, that's the other cool part about like sub two is I consider it a twice filtered environment. Number one, you had to pay to get in. And then number two, the people that would be willing to pay to get in kind of cut from a certain cloth. A little bit of tenacity, a little bit of blue collar, a little bit of a dreamer. So, you have that pool of people to pick from. Sandville's working with Ashley, he's working with Mo, whoever else works with whoever else. So it's good. Yeah. Sandville, did we talk to you
Sammy,
about,
you're giving Ashley some tough love.
Yeah. Yeah. trying to help her out and teach her as much as I can. I mean, I don't know. I think it's working, I guess. I mean, she's got the knack for talking to sellers and just having
Yeah.
conversations with people. Like she's awesome at that. It's just about so far it's just been about like getting her to like stick to a sales process, something repeatable that we can, hone in over time, figure out where she's going wrong. And then just really helping her with learning how to underwrite. Because for like the long, probably like the past 12 months, every deal that she's like thought would be a deal, she's always had to text me and like they're like, "Hey, what do I offer on this?" And I was like, "All right, we're gonna fix that." So teaching her how to underwrite, and now she's like actually getting pretty decent at it to where I'd say probably 80% of the time I'm like, "Yeah, that's your underwriting spot on. Like that's a pretty solid offer."
Nice. Yeah, she definitely got the gift of gab, brother.
Oh my God, that girl could talk forever about anything. Like she's my favorite person to like it's a good dynamic, I guess, because like I'm not like really much of like an extrovert or like a
You're an
super people
introvert.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had to like really, really work at like talking to sellers and shit like that. So like there will be times where I'll call a seller, completely strike out and be like, Ashley, call this dude from a different number. Because she'll just I've watched her literally have a seller like not want to say anything for like 10 minutes straight, and then an hour and a half later you're into the call and they're best friends. Like she's
Wow.
just she makes stuff out of nothing, which is insane to like listen to.
Yeah, that's good shit, man. So once
Yeah.
once you reel her in and obviously get her to focus on the or technically execute the game plan, you should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan.
Sandville, what about you? Two things professionally that you want to try, maybe something that you haven't tackled just yet.
You just said
Uh
six. Why'd you get two?
Well, you gave two.
I'm brand
I
new.
mean
Been here the longest and you're brand new.
um 6 things that I would like to accomplish this year.
Well,
Uh,
so they talk about it six new things, six adventures, six things
mhm.
that you've never tried before, but in a way to push yourself to go after something new, get feedback on it, and then continue life.
So I think the first one that I'm like actively trying to do is scale, I guess, and like hire people and get good at like training and managing people. Um, I would like to do a flip this year using hard money because I have no idea about hard money, how to use it, or anything like that.
Where the hell do you get
Um,
your money from?
private lenders,
Wait, what?
private lenders,
What are you paying for your money?
12 to 15%.
Yeah, well, I think it kind of like works out though between points and percentages. I think on one I
Yeah,
paid like 1.75 points and then 10.9%. It works out to be the same. Why
yeah.
would you go
Well,
hard if you got private?
so because there's certain like so right now there are certain like deals that are like traditional cash deals, and
Mm.
like they have really really great spreads on them, but I just don't take them down or do any. I just wholesale them because I don't like really understand or hard money or how it works or anything like that. So I'll just like pass it off to somebody else. The only like flips that we've done, they've all been creative where I only need to bring the rehab money from a private lender. So I've never had to like go out, get the hard money, get the gap funding, do all that stuff. But I understand it's like another tool. So like I would like to learn how to do that and execute one of those successfully this year. Um, I want to get a uh I want to pick up another multifamily in Concord creatively, preferably zero down, zero interest.
how is this other multifamily in Concord different from the one that you did before? Because the whole thing is not just things to do, but new things to do, new things to try.
Yeah. So the other one was different because it was the first property that I ever bought, deal I ever did, whatever you want to call it. And I did everything traditionally. Um, so like I got the financing through a bank. Like I did the renovation myself, like all that stuff. So like I would like to pick up a multifamily creatively because I've never acquired a property on seller finance before, and I've also never gotten a zero down, zero interest before. So I would like to do that because I think to accomplish something like that, I would like have to grow drastically in my like acquisitions skill set. I think. So I think that takes like a special. I don't know. Most like average acquisitions people aren't picking up zero down, zero interest because you have to be really, really good to convince a seller
Hon-
to do that.
Honestly, I think you have a huge chip on your shoulder because one of the things that I find most impressive about you and the whole reason why I put you on stage for Creative Elite is you have the discipline to get on that fucking call every single goddamn time and to hammer. You are the most stubborn, like fucking, I don't even know how to describe you, like groundhog. I don't know what animal is you. There might only just be you, but like you're the kind of person who gets on the call every single time. I know, just like your body, you fucking put in the reps. You know what I mean? Like, how can you not be great at being a closer with all the experience you've had? That makes zero sense to me. To me, it's all in your head that you don't got it going on.
No, like I can close deals like I've done that before and I have like the track record to prove it, but I want to like I guess it like kind of aligns with like what you just said. Like you know me, like I want to be the top 1% or like 0.001% of anything. So like that's where when I say like I'm trying to get better at acquisitions and like get better at like my sales process and all that shit, like that's what I'm talking about. It's like I know I can close deals because like I've closed deals consistently for the past year. Um, but like I want to like right now, like so like I've been hovering at like 20 to 27% close ratio for the past like 3 to 4 months since I really started tracking shit from which I understand is like not bad at all for this industry. But like I want to get to like a 50% close ratio. Because like there's certain like right like you know when you have conversations with sellers and you're like if I had just been like a little bit better here if I had just been a little bit better maybe had a little bit more experience and refined my skill set a little bit more I could have closed that. Like I don't feel like I lose deals because of um I feel like I lose deals the most because like my skill set is just like not quite polished enough. Because like I'm at the point now where I can, if it's a layup deal, I know I can convert that. If the seller is like 50-50, I know I can convert that. I want to get to the point where like I can take a seller from like a 30% yes, you know what I mean? Like where they're like really, I want to be able to take somebody that's like, not really. I really don't want to sell to like actually closing them. Kind of like I don't know, kind of like the Paces, the Jerry Nortons of the world, or like the RJ Bates or like the Eric Kleins, where they literally get on the phone with people and they're like, I have no intention of selling. Then by the end of the call, they're signing a contract. Like that's where I want to improve my skill set to. So I
That's where
feel
you make
like
money.
yeah, yeah, and so that's one of the things that I'm like trying to put a lot of focus on right now is like active listening to the seller to like really because like a lot of the times right now is like I listen to respond instead of like actually trying to really understand where they're coming from, understand their situation. So that's what I'm trying to do right now is really active listen so I can, know to like know the right questions to ask, like know the places to prod so I can find the bunnies and shit like that. So but like that's what I kind of equate like getting a zero down, zero like interest deal to is like having that skill set to like really, really like dig deep, find the bunnies, and like get a seller to do a deal that realistically is not in their favor. Like a zero down, zero interest deal is almost never in the seller's favor.
I don't agree with that at all. I actually think it's almost easy to sell a zero down. I don't know about that, but 0%, yes, just because I hate doing math and I'm Asian and I'm good at it. But having to explain math to sellers, the other thing to also consider, I realized, is even if you do a seller finance deal, the seller is thinking that they're going to get paid the money all the way through term. But if you finish the project sooner, you can actually save huge amounts of money. You can give them a really high interest rate, but then if you finish in a month or two, they're not making what they think they're making. And so I
Yeah.
actually like the 0% thing where it's like, listen, we're going to cut the bullshit. No matter what, you are making this amount of money. No matter if I finish early or I finish on this date, that's the amount of money that you're going to make. Makes the math super, super easy. I'm going to give you 30,000 over ask or whatever the case is, but figure it out. Once you hear like percentages, I feel like that's when people start to compare things and they're like, I can do better, I can be better. And the answer is, let me just throw a butt ton of money in your face and let it be 0%. You are guaranteed to get that because it's 0%. That is the purchase price. There's no some wiggle room with interest rates and finishing on time and whatever. It is what it is. That's the math.
Well, yeah, so I'm not talking about like getting a zero down, zero interest for like a renovation project that I would refinance out and hold. Like
Um,
I want it to be like I want to get a zero down, zero interest on a 30-year term or something crazy like that.
Stratton, what
And
is
Why do you reference Pace and Jerry Norton? They do that shit all day
they
long.
do that shit all the time. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, that's where I wanna get to. And I also want to like expand my portfolio in Concord because I love Concord and have a lot of faith in that, market.
Well, Sean, you're into banks, right? You ought to
Yeah.
just, a bank is the cheapest money you can get. That's how I've gotten all my units through banks. And once I got my first one, my next 4 unit I bought a value add. And you got to get an investment friendly bank. I went to 3 of them before I found one. Okay, and that's who I refinanced my 5 unit with. All right. And it's more or less like a construction loan. Find a value add prop. What you do is you go into the bank, say, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to have it appraised. This is what I'm going to do. Give them a scope of work. Tell them what you're going to do, what it's going to be. They'll take that scope of work. They'll go look it. They'll appraise it as if it was completely done for you. They'll give you the ARV value. Then what you're paying for the project, your money down, I take from my previous rehab, my refinance. So I have no money out of pocket for my down payment. And the spread that they give you is your refinance, is your building money. It's a 6-month term. They only give you so much percentage of your loan you have to pay as you're doing it for 6 months. After the 6 months, it goes to a normal thing. Actually, on 2 of my projects, I've made money. The banks paid me to buy that for you.
Keith,
But
how
I
many?
mean, just
how
a lot
many?
of people can't do that because they're not in banks. But if you're into a bank and you've got something started, bank is the cheapest money you could ever get. All my units, I've never paid anything out of my pocket to do them.
How many investment friendly banks you got, Keith?
I get 2 of them right now. I
Are
get
they
a credit
local?
union and what's that?
Local?
Yep. Yep.
Tiz to me is the money guy, so he's all about his credit cards. What do you call it? Business what?
What?
What do you call it? Business line of credit. He's very good about getting money off these credit cards. He did one flip like on like 5 credit cards. I heard the story. Um, I know, and I was like, how the fuck is he pulling this off? But yeah, so this guy
So
likes money.
Keith has a good point, though. I mean, I'd love to establish more relationships with investor friendly banks. I was on the call this morning with me, Palm, and our other partner with a banker out in Connecticut. they're ready to do business. I just need more relationships, more banking people. And like Keith said, if you establish the right relationship, they're gonna want to give you money no matter what. And it is cheap money,
How cheap is cheap?
depending on what it is.
Yeah, but give
mean-
me an example. What's cheap money?
6%, 6.5%.
Okay, okay. Very cheap. Oh my God.
And for 6 months, it's only a percentage of that. You know what I mean? Because it's construction loan. After the 6 months, then you go full.
Hey, who's the credit union you're using, Keith?
I use Acadia Credit Union up here, and the First National Bank I use up here in Bangor. The First is what I do most of my business with, but what I did is I took my 5 unit and I refinanced it to Acadia. Number one, to pay off a line of credit I had on it to the First.
Yeah.
Okay, but it with that 5 unit, it established another commercial account. You know, I kind of got lucky. My first apartment building I bought was a 5. So it was an automatic. When I refinanced it was an automatic commercial account. So I've got a portfolio in both banks. You know what I mean? So I can get as many loans as I want, commercial. You know, you're not kind of limited to only 8 or 10 loans. Because once you start getting loans for 4 units or whatever, or however, duplexes and stuff, once you start getting 8 or 10 loans, the bank's not going to give you no more money. Just
Right.
because, you know. But if you're a commercial, I just kind of lucked out is what I did on that, you know. That's why I'll never lose that 5 unit. Never.
Keith, how did you get the 5 unit? Where did it come from? Lead source.
Actually, one of my private lenders, a friend of his, they were in business together. They used to do deals together, and then they kind of split apart and they just split everything apart. Well, Ed, which was lending me money, I was doing deals with Ed, knew that he was selling it. Ron was selling it. So he introduced me to Ron, and it was kind of funny. He introduced me to Ron. Ron told me, yeah, no problem. Okay, he'll sell the finance because he owned it. He'll sell the finance to me. He said, but I want 235,000 for the property. I want 35,000 down. At the time, we were just getting ready to sell a rehab we were doing. And at the time, I was just getting going with Ed and I. We did probably 6 or 8 projects. He'd bring the money and I'd do the rehab. We'd split the profit. Okay. Well, on my profit, we had a $46,000 profit on this rehab we just got done. So my share was 23,000. I put a couple thousand with it. So I told Ron, I got 25 grand I can give you, Ron. I says, you know, Keith just, you know, I want 35,000 down, Keith. Just tell me how you're going to do it, he says. So I'm thinking I got no, you know, this is my first one, you know, it's like, what the hell, you know? One Friday night, it was about a week later, one Friday night, I was sitting on the couch. And I sat up and I said, I know where I'm getting that money. Sally says, where? I said, he's going to loan it to me. She said, what? I called him up. I want to buy you breakfast, lad. Went to Denny's, bought him breakfast. He said, you figured it out, huh? I said, absolutely, sir. I said, I'm going to give you $25,000 cash. You're going to loan me $10,000 for a year. I'm going to pay you interest only on your apartment building. After the end of the year, I pay you back. We'll go full payments.
And that was before he met Pace.
Yep. Yeah. And he just looked at me and he says, I knew you'd figure it out, Keith.
Keith, it sounds like you know how to get money.
Somewhat. I mean, I have those 3. Ron is still actually a private money lender to me. He's helped me out. Ed is still actually one of my rehabs Ed's done. And Sean, which is a guy that was a friend of Ed's that wanted to get into lending, and he lent, I don't know, 2 or 3 of our projects that we did together, he lent. And then when Ed split apart, because his boys saw what he was doing, so his boys wanted to start rehabbing with him. So we kind of split apart and I started doing it on my own. Well, we'd already worked together. So Sean kind of helped me out, keep going, you know. So.
Is it possible to take them out to Denny's and see if you can get money from them?
Oh, I gave them first choice. Oh no, I've contacted all 3 of them. You know, Ed, both of them already bought. Sean just bought 3 houses. He almost spent $1 million on them. He said, I'm fixing one up to Airbnb. He just really don't have the funds. He just doesn't want to take no funds. And Ed is the same way. Ed just bought 2 houses. He's finishing up a trailer that he's helping somebody out with and whatnot. And Ron's got his money all tied up. He said he won't have no money until next year. He said, you know, he's going to keep it where it was. So I always give them first dibs anyway.
One of my favorite Grant Cardone quotes from the beginning was, "Who has my money?" Yeah, it changes the way that you think about things. If
Oh,
you,
yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember my first rehab I did with Ed. Actually, I bought it off from Ed. He financed it for me, is what he did. Okay, it was like a novation. He said he'd hold it. You know, he'd hold it. He charged me $5,000 more than he paid for it. And because it was a little house in Old Town. The foundation, the front of the foundation was caving in, and he showed me it. I said, "Well, shit, do that every day. That's no problem." Like, yeah, no problem. He said, "Well, I bought it for 35,000." He says, "I'll sell it to you for 40." He says, and hold the money. He says, "Where are you going to get the rehab funds?" And I was working at the time. I said, "Well, I'm working for an investor. I'm digging holes for an investor." I said, "Bob will probably, I'm going to approach him." He said, "Well, what are you going to pay for your interest?" I said, "I don't care, 15, 18%, whatever." He said, "Geez, I'd like to see you make some money." He says, "On your first deal." He says, "Let me talk to my wife." He says, I'll get a hold of you later. Maybe we can help you out." Sure. So he did. He got back to me and he said that we dickered on how much it was going to cost. Ed's like that. You know what I mean? Geez, I could do that for 15,000. He says, "Finish it," you know, and he said, I said, "I got 25,000 all day there, you know, because what needed to be done and stuff." We come down to 20,000. So I did the project because it needed the roof, and we ended up putting windows in it. And anyway, doing the project, I spent the 20 grand, and that's all he was going to give me. And I still needed $4,000, almost $5,000 worth of stuff to get it. And this project been going on for like 8 months. And I'm saying, geez, working every day. I'd take we'd pay our bills, and whatever I had left would go buy materials. You know what I mean? One of those jobs, my first one. And I said, "Geez, we got to get this done. We got to get this done." I just happened to be riding by a bank one day. I said, "What the hell?" Spun in with my truck, walked in. I said, "Hey," I said, "you give me any money for my truck?" They went out, took pictures of it. They come back. Yeah, we'll give you $3,600 what they give me for my truck. Good man. They gave me $3,600. We went 2 weeks later. We had the house on the market. That was the first check I ever got. $32,000 we made on that house. Never forget it. From there, I bought 2 more houses from there, and kind of been doing it ever since. Kind of funny.
That's a good story, brother.
Impressive, honestly. Yeah.
Hey,
But I also like the fact of like how creative they are. Like creative finance existed a long time ago. Just 2 people trying to figure out shit together, but with like no limitations. Like nobody told you, "Oh, you can do this, you can't do that." It was just, how do we figure this out? And talking it out, right, got you there. So I love the fact that you're living it before you even came to learning about it formally. Yeah. Mark, last but not least, my apologies.
Why?
Kevin's rule for you. What are some new things you want to try out this year?
Well, I'm going to Squat Up Summit, so that'll be like the first real estate conference thing I've been to. That'll be good. Golden ticket.
Hang on. Does anyone know anybody else who's going to Squat Up? Are you serious? Nobody knows shit?
I think
The
Tony.
Eisenhowers, yeah.
Yeah,
The Eisenhowers are going. Have you met
Nice.
them?
Just here on the last week's Zoom, but other than that,
Yep. I can put you in touch. Who else is going?
Keith Sheridan mentioned he was going.
Yeah.
Jess is going. Justin will obviously he'll be there.
Ari's going.
Who?
Ari.
Oh, nice. That's all
Anyone
I got.
else? Stratton, you know anybody else?
Nope.
No. I say something similar where I'm like, I left the cult and I'm not going back. But at the same time, I have a lot of friends on the inside that were leaders and got burned. And they are going, because one of the other things that we realized is I can't be bitter about sub 2, and I'm not. But I think the most important thing that when you are doing sub-2 stuff is to make it work for you. Nobody's going to take care of you, right? They're there to sell you stuff. They're there to make money. You're in it for yourself. So figure out how to make it work for you. And so a lot of my friends who got burned and left are actually going to squad up Summit. And the goal is to make it work for them this time, to take ownership of their path in sub-2 instead of being bum rushed by everything. Anyway, Mark.
Yeah, it'll be good though. And then I'm doing the golden ticket event at Pace's office in September, so that'll be good. I want to partner on my first flip this year, and I don't know. I'm gonna be doing some fishing, which I don't usually do, but I got some saltwater rods set up, and I'm like
So you
10
got,
minutes from the beach, so I'll be over there probably a couple nights a week or something.
so personal
Let's
and
go
pandemic
fishing.
professional.
Let's go.
Let's go fishing.
I'm down.
Let's
What
go.
kind of fishing you do?
I'll fish for anything. Anything with fins.
Is that actually fishing or are you just standing there in water drinking beer? Like, what are we talking about? Or do you actually catch stuff? Or you just want to be outside by yourself? No children.
I
None of your
don't
half a
fish.
dozen kids.
I like never really have, so I'm just gonna, I don't know. I want to
Oh,
stand at the end of the jetty and just be casting, I just want to like sit out there getting beat up by waves and just casting.
and so you're looking for some abuse.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
other ways to get that, but Godspeed to you at the end of the jetty.
Yeah.
You should go shell fishing. I like shell fishing instead. To me, fishing is you're just wishing for something. You just put shit in the water and you're like, come on, I hope. But you can't see anything, you can't control anything.
You can control where you go, what you're throwing, like what you're using for bait, when
I
you're
think we need to bring Sharky fishing.
yeah, it's in the name.
He
It's
obviously
bait.
doesn't understand, Mark.
I mean, I'm new, so I've been watching lots of videos, so that's what they say. I'm gonna roll with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. Those are some things that I have.
So first flip for you, right? And then Sean Sandville, you flipped before, but you want to flip with hard money, which I think is the silliest thing, because hard money is so easy. If you can wholesale a deal, you can. The whole reason why I started flipping was because I got pissed off selling to wholesalers, because those buyers are like the most aggressive thing. They want to pay nothing for your deal. And I got annoyed with them. And I was like, well, fuck you. I'm just going to go do my own goddamn deal. But then the thing I didn't realize with lenders is you kind of have to sell them the deal. You have to, show them that they're not going to lose money on it. So there's a little bit of a dance there. But then once you're in, you're in. I almost think I like what Keith Lyons is saying about getting a construction loan on stuff. I would love to try that out.
I would have to
6%?
learn
Are
more
you
about
kidding
that.
me? Oh my God. Where have you been, Keith? Why are you hiding this from us? You know how much money we pay? 4 points and 14%? Are you kidding me? And you're sitting on 6% construction loans?
I mean,
I
I
know
feel like there's cheaper hard
my
money out there than that too, though.
yeah,
There's
there is
cheaper
actually.
hard money?
I was just talking to
4%,
somebody.
14.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody tonight, and they said they're between 9 and 11 is what they were, because they were thinking about helping me out, but where they get their money and everything, that they want to do the whole thing just like the rest of them did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But they were like between 9 and 11. Actually, I'm thinking about going with them on that 12 acres that I'm looking at on them building them 4 units. Instead of going to seller finance, I can go and do it with them. And then I'll have, because if I seller finance is nice, but where do I get my money to do the 4 unit? I'm gonna need probably 170, 180,000, do that 4 unit, something like that. Maybe close to 200,000, do it, split them up, do all 4
Yeah.
units.
I've
So,
I've never done a project, and I have a hard money guy that will do like 10% down and
Yeah, 'cause
10% interest with 1 point.
yeah, because I get spoiled with my private money guys, because I don't spend no money. I don't even close. I don't have to come up with no closing. I don't pay them any money until I sell the project, you know? Oh yeah,
That's
I
nice.
mean, I just, you know what I mean? They've spoiled me, you know what I
I'm
mean?
so unhappy right now. I'm
Right?
so
He
unhappy.
sounds like
You
a
know.
damn mob boss.
No, just.
He ain't paying shit until after everything is done.
Uh,
That's amazing. honestly, like hard money is the easiest thing. Yeah. So we
Hmm.
can do that. We can help you get your first flip. I don't know why, but I like helping people get their first flip just because I remember how traumatic it was for me. And not to cast shade on people, but at the time I was doing it, it was Clinton Reynolds. Didn't help me. He was one of the guys that was like, "Oh, you seem to really enjoy this. Why don't you keep doing this? Why don't you do all 95% of the job? You seem to be, having the time of your life." And for me, I was just excited to have the opportunity to learn. So I was happy to do it. But then now I'm like, I can do everything by myself. I don't have to convince nobody about my choices. It's just easier and faster and all of the above. But I'm sure I'll run into a point where it makes sense to partner on things again. Yeah.
I might have mine under agreement this week. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of
Which one? Haverhill?
it's in Haverhill, but it's kind of weird. I don't know. He's open to it. My buddy gave me the lead. He's like, "Hey, I got a lead in Haverhill for you." I was like, "Okay." And then I processed her. I'm going on the appointment Thursday. Price is like not unreasonable whatsoever. And I'm assuming the condition's probably like good. Because it just seems like it would be. They're kind of newer construction, stuff like that. But he's like, yeah, maybe we like partner on this as a flip or something. I'm like, wait, what? So you generated the lead, but you're giving it to me to process and to sign, and then you want to partner with me on the flip? I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds fair, I guess. Whatever that percentage looks like, I don't care. But because I'm more local than him, so I'll be able to like stop into the project if I
Is
need
this
to.
is this Devin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Devin's my boy.
I know. I honestly, if he's flipping that other house down in South Shore, then he knows what he's doing. Because that's the hard part is when you get together with another partner that doesn't know, and then
That's me.
everything's a mess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
You want a partner who can do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll basically get everything else set up, and I'll just go secure the deal, and I'll be boots on the ground if I need to go over there.
What's the
So
goal for you doing your first flip? So Sean Sandville, sorry. You want to do your first flip with hard money because why? Like why? Why is
Because
that exciting to you?
I want to understand like traditional lenders more so I can understand how to utilize them more, I guess, like as a tool in the tool belt. Because like I have no problem doing stuff like what Keith had talked about, like going to a traditional bank and like doing that stuff. But the thing is like I don't understand like half of what he said. So I want to like actually go through the process, learn it, understand it so that I can have more tools in my tool belt to like take down properties or make different offers that technically wouldn't work other ways or just stupid shit like that.
What's the name of the guy who Thanos, the guy who has five gemstones? I feel like that's you. Super jiggity jacked. And then on top of it,
Do you see that?
you want to have everything. Oh, okay. Yeah. What are the naked statues next door to that?
Those are my
Those are,
bodybuilding trophies.
yeah, nice. That hand is huge though. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah, the
I
Infinity
think
Gauntlet.
I think you just want to be amazing at everything, which makes sense. You have very high, excellent standards. I would encourage you like hard money, not that sexy. We could have a 10-minute conversation and you could learn everything you possibly need to know about hard money. There's nothing special over there. There's not a competitive edge on it. The banks at 6%, yes. Private money, yes. Hard money, like why? You're
Yeah, I
like
guess I don't
slumming.
know why hard money. I think like the stuff that Keith was talking about was way more appealing because like my goal is to buy more units and get more doors. So if I can
Yeah.
find unique
Cheaper
ways
money.
like that to acquire stuff, that's what I would rather do.
All
yeah, but
right, we'll
like
do
if you're
that.
in a like what if you're in a pinch, your private money guys don't have it, banks aren't funding, maybe you're not financeable and you're in a pinch or something, like, you know, why
Then
not?
you go slumming, but you save the slumming for last.
But still,
Yeah.
There's
if Sean's trying to learn the master of the art
Yeah.
of closing like Pace and all these other cats, I think it goes hand in hand with whatever he tries to accomplish, including talking to banks or whether it's hard money, private money, whatever. It's just him learning the ins and outs and what to say in wordplay when he needs it. I think that's just he wants that superpower. You know what I'm saying?
He wants everything.
Well, yeah, like I don't want to just be like I don't want to like just wholesale forever. I want to
Yeah.
do like a more I want to be like a fully well-rounded investor, I guess I could say. So like if I choose, I want to be able, because right now I wholesale because I have to, not because I choose to. So like I want to get to the point where I can wholesale if I want to. I could flip the property if I wanted to. I could buy and hold it and turn it into a long term, a mid-term, a co-living something. I'm staying away from Airbnb, but
Yeah.
but like I wanna understand all those aspects fully because I'm not the type of person where like I have to go through it to learn it. I'm not like if you explained it to me, I would like roughly understand what you're saying, but until I
Yeah.
actually do it, then that's when I'll fully understand something and be able to get creative with it and start messing around with like terms and structuring and stuff like that.
Okay.
When you do choose to go hard money, make sure you get a reputable people. I've used hard money 2 or 3 different times, and you know it's stressful because all hard money is 6 months, and that's selling it. You know, it just to and to get a couple of more months added to it, like this one I did this summer. I just did one with hard money. Okay. They always go with a 6 month term. That's what they want. I mean, like I said, it depends. That's what I had available up here. Okay. And it costs you an arm and a leg because I was paying 12 12.75 percentage, but to close, I paid 4.5 points by the time I was done to close a loan. Okay. It was
Wow.
just I was at 20, almost 21% the whole thing if I would have paid it straight. Okay. Number two. Number three, you have to, the only way they pay is you you put money in and you show them receipts and
Yeah.
you get your money. Okay. Yes, if you if you send a receipt rate directly, you need to buy metal because I bought my metal for my roofs and stuff like that. Okay. So I sent them and they did send, I showed them an invoice for it, you know what I mean? And they sent the money for them, you know what I mean, to do that stuff. But it's just, it's very stressful. First time I ever used it, a son of a bitch was trying to steal my house. His first time, this is the second rehab I ever did. First time with hard money, and everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, just use hard money." I had number, I didn't know about the receipt thing. You know what I mean? It was hard enough to close. I got that 32,000, so I closed no problem with the loan. But the receipt thing was like, your subs paying your subs and stuff. Well, you got to pay them and show a receipt that you've paid them, and they say it come down to the end of it, and I had like $12,000 left, and all I needed was my trim and my paint, and I put in for half of it. All I wanted was $6,000 to do it. And the son of a bitch come back and said, "Nope, you don't have enough done." I said, "What? Nope, you don't have enough done. We're not giving you no money." Oh my fuck! It's a good thing that Scott, my buddy Scott, was, and I, you know what I mean. I just talked. Scott was building houses, and he let me go to Crescent Lumber and take on his account whatever I needed, for my trim and stuff and paint, whatever. So I got it done, and I told them go fuck themselves. And I sold it in 20 back then houses were going like hotcakes. And within 24 hours I had it under contract. So we closed and stuff right before the 6 months was up. But I mean, that son of a bitch was trying to steal my house, I said, just the way he was doing it.
Yeah,
So
they're
you
out
gotta
there.
kind of be careful with them. You know what I mean? Just know somebody that's used one and they're good about paying and stuff. This one here this summer wasn't too bad. But there again, I was done in 4.5 months, but houses aren't selling that great. So it took a couple of months to close and it went over the 6 month. So I had to pay 1 more% to go 2 more months. you know? So
If you need a good hard money lender, Sean, I got one for you
Okay.
that we
Yeah, I
just
don't
went
have
through.
any flips on the horizon, or not cash deals. We have,
Yeah,
I don't know. I like the creative flips so much better, but I still want that ability to buy a super low cash deal.
You are leaps and bounds beyond fucking people. It's not always easy to get money. The fact that you're like swimming in private money and swimming in creative deals makes me want to like punch you and choke you out. Like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it's pretty awesome.
I know you. I know you like abuse, so go be abused. You're ridiculous, but go be. Oh, I want to have a hard time doing this flip. Let me go sign up with some asshole. Like, let me do a draw. You know how annoying a draw is? Exactly what he's talking about. They let me send in my invoices, not the receipts, because I do pay cash for stuff. But it's $300 every time for them to send me money. The wire's $50, but they're gonna put a little check mark on it. $300. It's annoying, but if you want to be annoyed and abused, which you love that stuff, enjoy.
I mean, I don't like necessarily want to go the hard money route if I have to. I guess I could suffice with like having somebody in my corner that knows how to use hard money if I ever needed to use it. But
Hard
like,
money is so easy. It's like a waitress at a restaurant. You pay them to do you a service, but you're going to eat the food anyway. Get yourself a good restaurant, lady.
good restaurant lady.
I couldn't think of waitress in time. Ah, they're a dime a dozen. They're gonna make money off of you. That was the thing that like pissed me off. Is I had a guy wearing Gucci shoes in my shithole apart, like three family in New Bedford, and I was like, Sean, how was your weekend? And he goes, I just got back from Paris Fashion Week, and I was like, oh, how's Kim Kardashian? Like, I don't even know how to talk to this guy anymore. So that's why I was like, please, for love of God, give me money because I hate him and I hate the fact that he makes money off of me. I'd rather keep money in the family. So if you have money, give it to me. And the fact that you're swimming in it is so easy. So many rules and regulations based on the hard money. They make you do a song and a dance. It's annoying, but again, you love being abused, so enjoy the abuse. You too, Mark. So Sean and Mark, I have that contractor group in New Hampshire. Really easy for me to get work done. You're welcome to post there and find GCs, find all the things that you need. And then of course you have me as a resource because I flipped by myself so many times with partners that weren't really helping me. And I was scared to do it on my own. And I just finished one on my own and I had a lot of fun.
Nice. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mine just
Thank
burnt
you.
down.
What'd you say?
Did you s-
I said mine just burnt down.
What are you talking about?
what?
You guys didn't hear about this?
No.
Yeah, so that sober living house that we've been working on for like over almost a year and a half. It was this massive sober living house over in Franklin. You can see the news, like it was on WMUR and everything. A crackhead essentially. We were 2 weeks out from final and had hard money on it. Hard money lender was awesome. He was like, "Don't worry about it, no big deal," because the note was due end of February. And yeah, long story short, crackhead broke in and was all drunk. We have him on video. Was all drunk, like messing around on the furniture that we were gonna furnish the whole place. Like we were ready to go. Like we had people lined up to get the sober living house filled and all that. We had 11 bedrooms all built in there and everything. And the guy essentially fell off of a dresser. I think he was like smoking a crack pipe or something. And the video goes off. And then the next thing you see, the video goes back because it was like motion detection or whatever. Video goes off, video turns back on. There's like a 15-foot flame in the basement. The whole fucking place burned down.
Whoa.
Yeah, this was like 2 months ago.
Holy shit.
Damn.
So I'm done
Damn.
with flips. I'm totally done. Like,
Were you doing that with somebody else or?
yeah, I partnered with a guy named Dylan that's got a bunch of sober living houses out here.
You seem in
Insurance
good
good?
spirits for somebody who just had a whole 11 unit sober living thing burned down. Why? Because you got good insurance, you got good partners, you're gonna be okay.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it wasn't our fault, you know what I mean? So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're probably gonna have to deal with the whole insurance thing, and the most frustrating part was like the insurance fire investigator that tried to interview interview me that I ended up throwing out of my office because he was trying to interview me, like interrogating me and my partner, and wanted us in separate rooms and me standing out in the hallway to try to find, So I come in, I'm like, all right, I'm like, you're all done talking, all done talking to Dylan. I'm like, if you want to talk to him, you can talk to him in front of me. I'm like, there's no need for this. I'm like, I have fucking video footage. Mind you, the guy when he first came was requesting to have footage, the download footage or share it right to his email, so he could share it with the insurance company. And he was trying to get the whole year of footage. And I talked to my attorney, and he's like, he doesn't need any year footage. Actually, you don't have to give him any year footage if you don't want to. And so I told him that he could have like within like 48 hours or whatever of the fire. And long story short, he ended up, we're talking and this and that, and he's like pulling months back of footage when he's right in front of me. So that pissed me off. And then after that, he tried to kind of like interrogate us, separately. And I went out initially and kind of complied, and I was like, wait a second. I'm like, this is fucked up. Like the insurance company is not here for us. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're gonna try to pin, conflicts, in our conversation or whatever. So then he's like, well, if you're refusing to comply, and I go, no, I'm not refusing to comply, like to do an interview, but I'm refusing to go about it with the way that you're doing it. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you want to interview me with Dylan, I'm fine with that. But if not, like, I'm not doing this bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? I know what the game is.
Yeah.
So long story short, I'm like, I'm like, you have the video footage of the guy freaking lighting my house on fire, right? Like that guy's not me, And so he ended up leaving. Long story short, the fire marshals are involved. They got the guy and caught him in a lie. They're pinning his phone. It's like a whole thing, but I
Who did
don't
they
know.
catch in a lie?
Huh?
Who did they catch in a lie?
They caught so the guy who burnt the house down. Him and his father were in the hospital. Like, so the guy that burnt the house down, the police officers found, or the police officers, the fire department found him passed out like in the doorway. He was all cracked out and drugged out or whatever from fire inhalation. Yeah, and so they knew who he was. And then when they did an interview with him like a day or two later, him and his father were like lying about where he was and why he was there, and that he didn't break in, and he broke in because he was trying to save other people there, but we knew nobody was living there, like all this sort of shit he was lying about. So anyways, everything looks good on that, and I'm sure we're gonna have to deal with we have the appraiser for the insurance going out tomorrow, actually, and then that's kind of like the final step, and then we're gonna kind of hear back, I guess, after
Did
that, and we're
you
probably gonna have to fight it.
did you bring in a public adjuster on this, or are you just going about it on your own? Because I would, if you haven't, I would look into one.
Yeah, so yeah, I was kind of I've been instructed to wait and see what happens first. You know what I mean? And if you agree with kind of what the insurance
Yeah. Okay.
company comes back with, so that's kind of like the next step, I think. If
Yeah.
hopefully they don't give us shit, and then just give us what
Well, don't ever take their
it's
first
worth.
number. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
rule
yeah,
number one.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
interesting. That's wild.
yeah. It's been a trip.
Where was
Sean, did
this
you
at?
Franklin,
Okay.
19 Chance Pond Road.
19 shit.
Oh
Sharon,
yeah.
did you talk to Thornton yet about it? Gordon Thornton.
Oh, Gordon, no.
His house burned down, something in New Hampshire, while he had already
Oh
moved
yeah,
down to the Carolinas. I
yeah.
would touch base with him and just see what he says about it.
Well, you got video on Facebook showing the fire.
Oh
Not
yeah.
you.
There's some good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so
Mhm.
funny, my God. You know what I want to do? So I thought about this a long time ago. I want to make Girl Scouts. You know how they have that little sash? Or no, Boy Scouts. You got a sash or like a vest, and then every time you like, I have a fire badge and I have this badge. I feel like there should be like a water pipe burst badge. And then I
Yeah.
retired.
That's
I
funny.
retired from my 9 to 5 badge. I retired my wife from her 9 to 5 badge. Obviously my house burned down badge.
Did you know about the water burst situation from the a year prior? Is that why you said it?
No, What,
We had
you
a
had
million
no, I had
million
one.
gallons of water that went into our property like over a year ago. Yeah.
For the sober house or for something else?
No, this was a different flip. Yeah, this was a different
Oh,
flip.
boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
both flips too. Shit.
Oh yeah.
Jonathan,
So,
No wonder you're
I
not
had-
into them.
Yeah.
Jonathan's
Yeah.
owed at least 4 or 5 badges.
yeah.
Somehow I haven't lost, like I've still broken even or made money though on these things. So
So, but I
But,
thought you
yeah.
were working on co-living.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just not flipping.
No. Yeah, no.
Hmm.
No.
I had a water pipe burst. That's why I said that. And she just got the bill for 1,300. I have no idea how much water was flowing through that house. But the good news is I had it under contract and I did not yet buy it. But the lesson that I learned with that one is that anytime you have a house in winterizing in New England, always shut the water off at the street, because anything from the street through the ground all the way to your property is your fault. So yeah, shut that shit off. It was horrific. It was like a fucking, what I imagine an Arizona rain jungle. Is that a thing? You know, like rainforest. Waterfalls. And I was just horrified, the whole thing. But it drained really fast. I don't know. Never again. I don't even want to flip that house because there's no joy in it. So we're going to wholesale it to New Western, who's buying shit left and right for like the highest prices ever. So
Really?
yeah. Do you have New Western up where you're at?
I don't even know.
You know
I
who
think
they
we
are?
do.
Yeah.
I think we do, but I thought they just wholesaled. I didn't know they actually bought.
No,
But
they
they
wholesale,
dispo.
but the fact is they buy the wholesale deal from you. So the guy who sold me Haverhill Street, I talked to him about something and I was like, yeah, my next flip, I don't really want to do it. I think I'm just going to wholesale it. He goes, I'll buy it. So then they underwrote it and now they made me a verbal offer on it. So they will buy my deal.
They're just
Even
going to
if
dispo it though.
Huh?
Likely. They're very likely just going to dispo it though. They're
No,
probably
of
not
course
going to
they are.
close on it.
No, that's what I'm saying is,
They
okay,
double
fine.
close.
They don't
They
buy it, they wholesale it for me to the end buyer. But they give me the highest buy price essentially. Because if I wholesale it myself, that's one thing. If I sell it to them to wholesale, it's easy. I don't have to do shit.
just
And
What
keep
do you
in
have it under
mind.
contract for versus what are they buying it for?
I will tell you later because it's not buttoned up yet.
Just keep in mind they do like a 7 or 10 day inspection period with no deposit. So like they're gonna tell you that, sign you, and then if they don't get anything, they'll just let you go.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna bring Rockport to them actually. I think I just got an okay on a 50K price reduction on that lot of land, and then I think I'm gonna give it to them to try to dispo.
And by lot of land, you mean a corner of a huge ass rock
It's a
that
couple
you're gonna
big
put a
rocks.
house.
Yeah, there's a couple big rocks in there, but we'll see. The way the lot lines fall in the building envelope, I think you might be missing. You're still gonna have to remove ledge no matter what. But
Yeah.
it's a lot in Rockport, buildable by right for a single or two townhouses for under 200,000. So that's
I had
like
a girlfriend who bought a property that had a lot of ledge and she thought she was going to be able to get it out, but then I guess they used like jackhammers and dynamite to do it. And then because of the noise level, the town wouldn't let her do it.
yeah, yeah, I can see
Just
that.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be jackhammer instead of like blasting, just because of the
Mhm.
area. But
Bye,
yeah.
Stratton. Good luck.
Hey, see you
So
guys.
Say man.
Bye.
later. So yeah, hopefully I
Well,
can get that freaking deal done. That'd be nice. I need to get one more before I go to Texas.
aren't you going to Texas on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. Setting the bar high. I like it. Sandville, a friend offered me 225. New Western told me where they would like to be is 240, but because I was a previous client of theirs, because I bought a deal from them, that they would start at 280 or 290.
Holy shit! Where's the property located?
Haverhill. Yeah, Haverhill.
Probably gonna be hard for them to dispo it at that price, but I
Like
don't know.
290?
Well, their ARV is in like 550 to 600, which I think is a little bit outrageous. I think that's a little too high, maybe like maybe 550 if you really push it. The land is big. And I think that's what they're going on, because other places in Haverhill, you are tight and can't do much with it. This one, you got options. There used to be like a huge 2-car garage. You could put that on. You can do
Do you
other
know
things.
do you know what part of Haverhill?
Brandy Brow. I don't know what part that is. I
Towards
call it
towards
the commuter.
Plastow border. It's like right near the Plastow
Okay.
border. Yeah, it's nice out there. It's not condensed. And
It's not super tight, but I didn't think it was that nice. It's not a yuppie place.
What,
well, it's
Haverhill?
Haverhill.
Yeah. Like there are some places you go to that are like super manicured and like, expensive pool, very tight. And then you go to a place like this and they have a lot of like extra cars on the lawn. You know what I mean? Like they got
Yeah.
one of everything.
I mean, even like the nice Victorian neighborhoods in Haverhill, like the old school Victorians, like
Yeah.
they're next to the hood, so it's like
I don't know where the hood is. I just even I don't know. I was talking to my GC the other day and I was like, you where you live is a little rough. And he's like, your definition of rough is different than mine. And I was like, listen, I'm buying property. It's the condition of the house. And the condition of the house is rough. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, nice to see you, Tiz. I like you rocking your gear. I'm gonna make some merch soon.
Rock my gear every day, boo.
Yeah, I know.
I
Do
let
something
everybody-
with
I
it.
let everybody know what it is and what it will be. Mr. Mark, good seeing you. Sean, good seeing you. Keith,
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna be bothering you, brother, because we need to hook up. I need to go. We need to fucking open our own bank up, dog.
Yeah,
Fuck
nice.
this shit. We need to become the go-to lenders up in this bitch.
And then you need to take all of Sean's private money because he doesn't want it.
I don't have enough
Unbelievable.
deals for it.
I hate you so much right now. I don't have enough deals for all the private money I'm fucking swimming in. You know what? Go die. This is so rude right now.
You
Like,
just
how
Sharky,
much
you
we
just
tried for money?
you just know people that know people. I don't have access to, it's not like I have like a Rolodex of like 20 private money lenders. I just know people that have the private, or that know people that have the private money.
I
Can
feel
you
like
pimp
you
some
gotta
of them
know
out?
people.
Huh?
Huh?
How do you not know private money lender? You know everybody, I feel like. You're just like the connector. I
No,
feel
no,
like
no,
you
no,
got it.
no,
You
no,
just
no, no.
gotta dig for it.
They piss me off is what I want to say.
Well,
Because when it comes to lending money, you have to convince them, just like you have to convince a wholesale buyer that your deal is hot shit. And it becomes this like whole selling thing, and I don't like to sell. You either get it or you don't get it, and I'm not here to come, manipulate you into giving me money. You either get it or you don't. Get off
What
my
do you
dick.
mean what do you mean you sell them on it?
You have to convince a lender to do the deal. Yes, you do. Because when it comes time to send the wire, they're like 50-50.
yeah.
They're like, do I know you? Are you actually going to pull it off? Is the deal that good? What happens if everything goes south? Like, how am I going to get my money out? That's the
Do you put a pitch deck together?
no, do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
That's the way you do it. You don't have to convince them. You put a pitch deck together showing your credibility, showing the credibility of the deal, and then you send it off to people.
Sharky,
If they don't like it, you say, "Okay, cool. I'm going to send it to my 4 other people that are looking at it." Like the numbers speak for themselves. You don't have to sell them on the deal. You literally go into Chat GPT and say, if you're in Haverhill, Massachusetts, go into Chat GPT and say, give me a positive view on the real estate market in Haverhill, and it'll give you a whole breakdown, and it'll show your private money lender that this is a strong market, that you're buying your property and
That's the
all
that's
that
the part that I
bullshit.
don't that's the part that I don't like because I feel manipulative in that sense. It's like a confirmation bias. I'm going to show you all the cool and sexy things, but like to me, you either get it or you don't get it. I don't want to have to convince you because I feel like I just feel skeezy at that point.
It's not
that's the
confirmation
business
bias
plan.
if you believe in the deal.
Right. That's
I
the business plan
do.
you're giving to the bank.
But like hard money runs their own numbers, right? Hard money gets it because they're in the business and you don't have to do the
Yeah.
convincing. They're either like yeah or no. With private money, depending on their background, then you do have to, with the pitch deck, pitch them kind of thing.
Sharky, everybody has a pitch deck.
Where's your pitch deck?
You want to see it? I'm gonna give it to you.
I
I need some
feel
money.
like I saw Palm. Palm made one. I like the chat GPT. I've never done a pitch deck before. I just borrow money from people that know me.
Yeah,
I hate asking for money too.
I just go to my realtor and get a CMA and there you go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also
Sharky, I'm gonna share this with you.
just put it in the Creative Elite group.
This
I
guy's
don't know
the
how to do
jokes.
that.
You'd rather not do that?
I said I don't know how to do that. I know how to hit share on DocuSign and put it in an email, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right, fine, do that.
Well, it's good seeing all
Like,
you guys. I'm gonna get going. I gotta
Keith, have
Yeah,
a good
get up
night.
same.
early.
I'm out of
Hey,
Bye,
have
here.
a good
Keith.
evening. Good to
Bye,
see you,
everyone.
Tiz. We'll see you.
Later, y'all.
Nice chat.
yeah.
Tiz, I need you to go. Oh, he left.
It's all right. I'm gonna show you my pitch deck real quick because
All
it's
right.
not fucking. It's
But
nothing
also,
crazy,
I
dude.
feel like your mom is fancy, you know, and I feel like you come from a fancy background, so I feel like your lenders are from your network. And you
No,
know, where are your
they're all
lenders coming
from.
from?
So a lot of them came from when I was working on Justin's team. So like, um, one of the kids that lended on my Lakeville novation, he was one of the other acquisitions dudes. Um, and then Andrew Murray, so like Justin's new partner,
Yeah,
he's the guy that's like doing a lot with like 401ks and showing people how to pull their money out of that. So I'll hit him up for deals. And he's cool because like on my last deal that I was looking for money for, I was like, hey, I'm looking to get these lending terms, but I'm willing to pay this. He's like, cool. Do you care if I go find people and just make the spread? I was like, absolutely fucking not if you bring me money.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll do that. And then like CJ, and then like my network, like I borrowed money from my parents one time for like a kind of a longer term play in a town
I
that's close by me.
the house that you did with the chimney in the middle that you lift up.
No, no, no. So this was a different one. So this was a door knock foreclosure. So
Mm.
we saved him from auction like less than 24 hours out. I've gotten so much better at foreclosures though compared to when I first started that.
I
But
remember you at one point just being like, Suzanne, can you fuck off with all this stuff and just close the deal? You're like, I don't want to know things because there was a whole thing about like paperwork and blah blah blah.
yeah, I had no idea how to do it. But no, so we took it subject to, and then we lease optioned it back to the guy. And then so he has 18 months for the option, but if he is like he has no grace period, so if he's 1 day late on payments, he loses his right to the option. He's a month-to-month tenant at that point, and then we would evict him, and there's $200,000 of equity sitting in the house with no work needed.
Who was your closing attorney for that?
JL Sweeney.
Okay.
He's licensed in Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire. He's the only person that I will go to for creative deals.
Yeah.
Because he's also like he's a really good dude. Like to the point now, like I've been doing a bunch of deals with him, but now like he's like told me, he's like, dude, he's like, this is my cell phone number. Call me morning, noon, and night, whenever.
That's awesome.
Like, there's been times where I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do with this. Like, what legal route do I have? And he's like, oh, you got this, 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 and this. Don't do this and that.
Yeah. How old is he?
Early 60s, I'd say.
Wow. I'm impressed.
He's I mean, his whole family's been attorney for years, but like I had an in-person meeting with him, and what sold it for me is I was telling him about what I did, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like you do subject to seller finance, this, and that," and he knew everything about creative finance without me having to explain it to him.
Yeah. The last one I used over in First National over in actually was that for us? Yeah, for I think for this house, I used them and I was like, this guy fucking doesn't know shit. He literally like
Yeah,
downloaded Pace's contracts and we're like doing it. And I was like, bro, I fucking came to you because you're an attorney. So like turn your brain on and like do this
yeah,
shit for me. Don't fucking take it I don't use PACE's contracts because they're good for Arizona, but like here in New England, there's a different twist to it. So I like having somebody who fucking knows and they're
Yeah.
licensed in the state I'm doing stuff to make me my
Yeah, like for my lease option contract, I originally used Paces, and then
yeah,
JL rewrote the whole thing for me.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, so this is like, there we go. There. This is my pitch deck. It is literally nothing special. It's just basic, like little bit about the borrower,
Yeah.
like what do you need, scope of work, the deal logic, what the capital be used for, your
I
comps,
love it.
about the market, done. But like this is what's gonna sell them on your deal. Like
Okay, okay.
does your logic make sense? Because a lot of
Yeah,
people don't understand the math behind the deal, but if you can show them like, hey, my closing costs are going to be 8%. I'm paying the seller $15,000. Once I pay you out with your payback, it's this. Then whatever, that's my leftover profit. Then I take away the first position. Here's my $70,000 net profit. It's showing them you have a lot of margin. And then even
yeah,
like for something like this, market downturn logic, because like we are entering into a little bit of a recession. So like
yeah,
I took 5% off the top, and even with taking 5% off the top, it's like I still have a $56,000, margin on there for profit. Like, do I think like it will sell for this? No, I'm pretty confident it's gonna sell for, that or maybe even a little bit more. But like still, like you can do this shit for that. It's like so simple.
yeah. I know, you're right. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I was just like, bitch, give me money.
Yeah. But like this, so like I don't like selling the deal to people either. So like
Yeah,
I'll literally just be like, hey, I have a deal. Are you open to lending on it? They're like, sure. Send me over what you have. I send this, and they say yes or no based off this. And there's no
got it.
arguing, there's no back and forth.
Yeah,
It's like, this is what I want. Here's my deal. If you like it, lend. If you don't,
yeah,
and I'll move on to somebody else. Because I don't like doing the whole back and forth bullshit either.
yeah. I got it. You look so different. I don't know why.
I'm getting gray hairs now because I'm stressed as fuck all the time.
Stress is good. I learned a lot getting fucked over and working my way through. So, like you, I do appreciate some good trauma. Um,
Yeah, I've been stressed as fuck because of this one deal in Stamford, Connecticut that I was talking about where there was just like a lot of bullshit with it. It was a wholesale deal, and
mm,
we went from having an $100,000 spread on the assignment to down to $20,000, and now we're fighting to try and make sure that it goes through.
yeah. 20,000 is
Buyers are
still a
liars and sellers are worse.
20,000 is still a good chunk of money. I always say I don't get out of bed for less than 10,000, but it's
That's
10,000 my side, 10,000 your side, so 20,000 is the minimum.
Yeah, so that's I've been using that like frame shift so much now. Like literally like it's so funny because like Ashley will underwrite deals sometimes. She's like, "Oh, like, there could be a $10,000 spread." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't get out of bed for less than $10,000."
Yeah. Once you set that standard, then you're like, it's over. And so I'll be honest, one of the thing that almost pushed me into flipping more was Z. Because Z kept going around being like, I got a house for $1. I made $100,000 taking out the trash. He pissed me off so much that I was like, fuck you. I'm gonna go do it. And then I did it. And ever since then, my except for this one I just finished, but this was a different speed. Yeah. So
No, the
because of
one you
him,
just finished came out amazing.
it's
Like
beautiful.
it was so
Thank you.
cool.
That's my testimony house because that was the one that I thought I was like, fuck, I think I'm getting out of real estate together. I was so like depressed about people stealing from each other, people that I thought were good people making poor choices. And I was like, I want to get out of here. I don't like this kind of stuff. And so at one point I thought, after the Z thing, my best friend, who I thought I knew, I talked to
Yeah.
a bajillion times a day. He went, I think I told you this in the group. He went through a foreclosure on the first two properties he bought in sub two. The whole reason why I called him Mr. Tukama, he lost those two properties right before we started Enfield, and I had no idea. And since
Yeah.
then, he lost even more. And along the way, like I had a heart to heart. I took him out to dinner. I paid for dinner. And I remember telling him, like, bro, your behavior with money is weird. Like, what's going on? And he wouldn't tell me. He's like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I was like, you say that? Well, it's hard to get money out of you. I don't know why it's so hard if you're rolling in it. And so
Yeah.
that's when I started paying for the flip myself, because it was just such a pain in the ass to get money from him. And then that did me dirty because I didn't get reimbursed for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't envy him because I know he's in a world of hurt. I don't know. Nope, 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 nope. But yeah, so that house is pretty beautiful because I did everything by myself to my standard with the money that I had, all on
That's
my own.
good.
And so that's the reason why I also say, like, I'm grateful for Z, because I always said I would do one on my own. But it was every time I bought a property, I'm shitting bricks all the time.
Yep.
This was the first one that I bought that I was like, yep, we're doing this and I'm excited to do it. So
It's awesome. Are you gonna make something decent off of it?
yes. So initially I listed it with Janine because I
Mhm.
was making friends with her for like the last year. Because after the Z thing happened, I was like, fuck men, I'm gonna be friends with
Yeah.
only women, and I'm gonna create a whole group of women, and I'm just gonna fuck everything up. And so I made good friends with her. I'm a good friend to her. And then when it was time, I just gave it to her. And I realized she didn't know my house. She didn't know the features of my house. She didn't know Andover. And so
Yeah.
at one point, I always underlist my properties because I want to show off. I want you to come see my house, especially this one. Um, and I underlisted it, and she pretty much was trying to sell it for list price. And I loved my buyer. So my buyer I actually met and I brought to her, and she's Japanese and I'm Korean, and we bonded. So I wanted her to have the house, and she loved my house. And so I'm such an emotional potato that I was like, okay, I'll walk away. I won't make any money, but it's okay because I have one flip underneath my belt. I know I can do it. It's proof of concept. It's my testimony house. And then as time went on, I was telling people, I was like, I should be grateful. I'm not losing money. I'm selling a house. The market is kind of turning. Like, I have all good things to do, but I'm not happy. And as time went on, I decided to buy another flip. And as I'm comping the other flip and I'm looking what's on the market, I'm like, I'm giving my house away. This is so
Yeah.
bad. She has no idea. And she should, because she's the agent on it. And so my buyer initially gave an offer that I had said yes to because I'm people pleasing and I love them so much. And when I had an opportunity, and then they came back and tried to renegotiate it, and I shut everything down. I said, absolutely not. And he's an attorney, first time home buyer. I think he panicked and he canceled the initial offer, which set me free, which was awesome because then I had a chance to relist and do it the right way. I am $65,000 more than what Janine got for me. She was trying to sell at 70,000. I have it for 825. So when I tell you I know Andover, I know what my house is worth. And then I remember, like, when I was talking, when I got two offers, and I remember talking to her and her broker, which is her boyfriend's mom. And Sally does houses in Salisbury, which is not too far from here.
Yeah.
She got mad at me. They got mad at me, and they were like, we're not doing a second open house. And I was like, that's not what you told me. And at a later date, when I rejected the first offer, so the first offer came in exactly at ask, but they had a mortgage contingency, inspection contingency, appraisal contingency. And I'm like, fuck these guys. Like, they don't like my house. They're just putting in at the ask. And you know that I underlisted the house, Janine. You know my break even number. She's known this whole house since we've been friends. I've been working on it for like 8 months now. And I remember Sally saying to me, she goes, don't punch a gift horse in the mouth. And I was like, and I remember she said something else where she's like, she was like, give us a break. And I was like, so that's when everything started.
Nah, do your fucking job.
Thank
Holy
you. Thank you. That was the part where I was like, bro, I've been a really good friend to you. I gave you a listing that you didn't earn. I gave it to you because you're my friend. And the way that I take care of you, I'm thinking that you're going to either take care of me or at minimum do the job that I'm fucking paying you for.
Yeah. You
So,
gotta get better agents if you're gonna keep doing shit in mass.
so I did. So I got so pissed off, and the whole thing was embarrassing because I didn't want it. I didn't want that to happen. I'm losing a friend over it because it changed when I saw what she did. There were other things that happened, and so I was completely turned off by it. I went on a rampage interviewing all the top agents in Andover. I went on MLS. I saw who has the most market share. There's one brokerage, William Ravis, 92% market share in fucking Andover. They do 92% of everything. And then so I went through like 6 different agents, interviewed the hell out of them, spent 2 hours each with all of them, loved all of them. And then the last one, I was watching I get Redfin every day for Andover because I wanted to know what the hell is happening because I was scared that I made the wrong choice. And every day I'm seeing like $50,000 price reduction, $50,000 price reduction. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm seeing 4 families, which at a minimum should be $1 million, going for like 800. And my goal for my 3-bedroom is 800. So I'm pissed. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're the reason why the prices are dropping because you're underlisting it. And so I got on the phone trying to fight with this girl, and she's like, no, idiot, it's a strategy. She got 100K over ask. So it's the same thing that I do, which is underlist and then drive it higher.
Mhm.
And yeah, so anyway, she's fabulous. She got me that dream number, and it was the right choice. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're making money on this and not giving
I
it away.
know, but I know it's been a lot of lessons that I'm a people pleaser and I'm emotional. You know, I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I'm doing things that I should know better. And then again, the one thing about me that I take pride in is when I'm wrong, and if there's an opportunity to fix it, I will do it. Even as awkward and as unpleasant as it is, and I don't want to do it, I will do it. That's the thing that like
Yeah.
bothers me. If I can fix it, then I have to at least try. So
Yeah.
anyway, your office looks very sexy back there. I'm happy to see the Asian katana sword hanging out. Nice.
Thanks.
Very, very office looking with your locking mobile file cabinet over there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know you could see that. I don't have my contacts and I can't see shit.
Yeah, no, I can see you got your whiteboard, you got your markers lined up, color coded. I see the Roy G. Biv going. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking around. House looks good. Is your brother
Thanks.
gonna live in the condo when you finish it, or at one point
No,
you
we're
were?
gonna sell it. We're just gonna flip it. We kind of need the cash, so we're gonna
Okay,
sell it.
yeah. I hope you do really well with Bateman Collective.
Me too. Me too.
There's no reason why you shouldn't do well, but I would definitely talk to Maple Birch and then Drew Tarantino and figure out like what you need to do to be successful.
They do. I will say the one good thing about Bateman, they do a very thorough onboarding. And so this probably isn't going to shock you, but they're like, you need to do like all of our top performers because they're huge on metrics. They track everything across all their clients. They're like, all of our top performers do this, 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 and this. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing then. And that's what I've done for every single lead that comes in. Because they were one of the things was like, you're supposed to call the lead within what like 1 to 3 to 5 minutes of when it hits your system. That they were like, okay, all of our top performers get in touch with the leads within 60 seconds. I've called every lead within 60 seconds of
That's your style. Like you love to, I feel like you love to have a coach, you love to have a challenge, you love to have like a clear path of like
I need a
hammer,
game
do
plan.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a like a list task oriented person. So like I what I don't do well in is ambiguity.
yeah.
But like if you can define a clear path for me and just be like, just do this, this, and this. Like that's why like even though like I wouldn't say like we're doing okay for wholesale right now, we're not like absolutely crushing and making ridiculous amounts of money. But I know that like I'm already 2.5, 3 years into this, and I'm like, I just gotta keep going. Like I can't tell you the last time I like woke up excited to do this. But I'm just like
To do real estate?
just to like sit there and like make calls all day. But like so it's funny because like if I have like a good conversation with the seller, like I really enjoy it and I like it.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing is like the majority of your calls are not going to be good calls.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's like I don't care because I have to. Like I burned, or not kind of purposely. I guess it was through my own actions, but like I don't have another choice. Like this is my only source of income. I don't
Yeah.
have another
Did you leave?
choice.
Did you leave?
I got fired.
Oh, I didn't know that. What happened?
Yeah, so I got fired back in June,
Wow.
and so I've been full time ever since. No, I mean, pretty much what happened. The reason why I got fired is because one of the other kids, he got fired over this too. He was installing a seatbelt back into a plane, and the director of maintenance like showed him how to install it, and he installed it and signed off on it, and I signed the paperwork saying that I checked it, and went back out to the line the next day. There was something like the pilots were saying like the seat was getting stuck or something, so we fixed that. But then the director of maintenance looked at the seatbelt and was like, "This is fucking on backwards, and
Yeah.
it's not secured at all." And they were
Yeah.
like, and people were flying with that. So he was like, dude, if they fucking crashed and they died, like that's on you guys. And I was just
Yeah.
like, no, I was like, fucking valid fucking reason. Like I think it was like a Tuesday that they found that we got sent home at like 10:30. They were just like, pack your shit and go home for the day. We'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, 50% chance when I go back into work tomorrow, I get reamed out, 50% chance I get fired. And I was like, it's my own fault. But I mean, it's not entirely surprising because like I can't tell you the last time I was excited about like going to work and working on airplanes. Like the only thing I cared about was real estate. That's all I talked about at work. And like I just got to the point where I put less and less and less effort into it, and I just did the bare minimum to, get a paycheck to feel safe and comfortable. And
I remember that with you because you'd be like leaving work to go, work another full-time shift doing calls. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "It's fine. I make it work for me. I'm not really like sweating at work." So like, yeah, this is where your heart lives. Yeah. Listen, again, I tell you all the time, I'm so impressed by your work ethic. The simple fact that this is not an easy or fun thing to do. You don't wake up wanting to do it and you still get your ass up and you still hammer. That to me is insane.
there's
Insane
just
in
no
all the
other there's
best
no
ways.
other option. There's like I mean, it's just there's no other options, right? Because like what happens if I don't get up and do this shit? I have a fixed amount of money in my bank account, and we're spent between my mortgage, what we're spending on Bateman, our CRM, everything like that, we're spending close to $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, if I don't produce, we're gonna run out of money, and then I'm not gonna be able to pay for my house and get foreclosed on. And what am I supposed to do? Go like look Lexi in the eyes and be like, "Hey, I didn't feel like showing up to work today, so now we're getting foreclosed on." Like
Still,
I don't have another fucking option.
so I'm telling you this, there's always another option. But for you, this is your only option. And I will tell you, even though that's the case, some people get overwhelmed, they get moody, whatever. I'm emotional, and there are days that I don't do stuff. But I love the fact that you get up and you fucking do the work all the time. No matter what you feel like, no matter what's on TV, no matter what the weather is like, I love the fact that you hammer. And I'm telling you, look at your body. Your body is like that because of you fucking hammering every single goddamn day, doing all the boring shit. Pick up, put it down, pick up, put it down, right? The fact that you do that all the to me, like people who bodybuild, the fact that you was tried jujitsu the first time ever and then won everything by submission. I love your story. Like you are insane. That kind of mental to dial in yourself mentally and be like, no, bitch, we're doing it. I've only ever experienced it one time when I did polar bear plunge because I hate the cold. I'm always cold.
Mhm.
And I was like, bitch, we're going to do it. And I was like, I told my friend I'm going to do it and I'm going to show up and I'm going to wear a bathing suit and a towel, but I'm going to bail. I'm going to find a way to get out of it. And there was no way to get out of it because there's a fucking conga line. And I was like, oh
Mhm.
shit, we're doing this. But the fact that I said I was going to do it and I moved my body to go do it and then I did it, I was on like crack cocaine the rest of the day. You couldn't stop me. I was like, I'm invincible. But I'm telling you, to have that mental thing that says do it and then you do it, Powerful. Powerful. You're going to be
Maybe.
successful. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You're going to be successful just because of you're such a machine. You're a
Yeah.
monster. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I could agree to that. It's just because like I refuse to quit and like I'll just play the long game. Like I may suck at this for 10, 15 years, but eventually I'll figure it out.
It won't. Honestly, you'll turn the, and that's the other thing that I said to you tonight. I really think it's all in your head that you
It,
don't
I
have.
am a mental case problem. I have the problem out of everybody that knows me, I probably have the lowest opinion of myself.
Yeah. Because I see you, I know you've been doing this for years. I know how much you like get up and hammer no matter what. For you to put in all those reps, you get to a point, I know what you're talking about. I call it Jesus walking on water. You get to a point where it's like Jesus with a huge dick and nobody can stop you. Every deal is your deal. Every deal is they're eating out of your hands. I know that feeling.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
But I'm also telling you, like you've put in so many hours, so many reps. There's no reason why you're not that already. The only person that thinks you're not that, I think, is you in your head. And that's what stops you when you're like, I should have had that deal because of this. Bitch, you already had that deal. The simple fact that you have that thought where you're like, I should have said this instead of that means you can do it in the moment.
If you have a way to flip that switch or get me to realize that and
It's
actually
very,
believe it wholeheartedly,
no, how many phone calls have you done over the last 2, 3 years you've been doing this? Bajillions.
yeah, I don't know.
You can talk to fucking anybody. How do you think that, like, at one point I got good because I said all the stupid things? I had the internal thoughts where I was like, fuck, that was the wrong thing to say, or fuck, the call just switched, the vibe just switched on the call because I said something. So you're constantly getting feedback from your sellers as to how to do something. You have a natural rhythm, natural style of how you approach things. You already have the thought, which is, oh, I should have done this instead of that. So for me, like, the way that I think about it is a long time ago, I used to get angry and fight with people. And what would happen is I would get upset, we would have a fight, and then like an hour later, I'd be like, I hate all of that. I was wrong here, here, and here. I should have never done that. And as time went on, because I guess I was self-aware, or I had those thoughts of like, that was ugly, I shouldn't have done that, that was wrong. After the fight, very quickly after the fight, I can fix it. So now I'm at the point where in the fight, I can find myself rising to anger and be able to stop that, or even before we get there. But I think it happens just because of repetition. You have so many opportunities where these things are happening. You get to a point where you're like, I don't like this. This feels like shit and yucky. I want to be better. I want to be better. And the fact that you want that, when those moments are coming, you can recognize like how you feel about something. You're getting stressed out, or something's building you up, or something's triggering you here. You know all these things about yourself. You're going to compress that time to the point where you can do it in the moment. You can even prevent that moment from happening. There's no reason why that's not possible, because of the simple fact that you're hammering 24/7. You're like the best scientist ever because you have all the fucking data, because you did all the work. Nobody else can say that. Nobody else is doing what you're doing. So I'm telling you, you bitch, you already have it. The only person who doesn't think you have it is fucking you. And that's why in the moment you're making the wrong choice, because you're doubting yourself. If you
Yeah.
went tomorrow and every call you were like, I got the biggest dick in the room, this bitch is mine, I don't need them, they need me. And you pick up that phone call and you're like, hi, I'm Sean. I don't need you, bitch. You need me. Tell me what's going on. Now you sell me your house. You buy my money with your house. With your shitty house, you buy my money. It's you. There's no reason why you're not that already. You are already that and more.
I like that. Um, I just got to find a way to get myself to believe that, whether it's through meditation or
What do
whatever.
you what do you do when you're like working out and shit is tough and you got to do one more rep? What are you telling yourself when that happens?
Uh, I don't. It's like autopilot.
But how did it become
I've been doing it
autopilot?
so long. I don't know. I think I've been doing it so long that it's became like autopilot and like I think like how it progressed was like I would like know that I needed to train more intense and then like I would just like pick a set and just be like I'm literally gonna go to failure or like go until I literally can't. Um I don't know. This is different because it's like mental, like physical stuff. Like I can do fine. Like I'm totally cool with like pushing my body till I break, or like the mental. I guess like the mental trigger to push past the physical stuff. Like that comes. I wouldn't say it comes easy. It comes easy to me now because I've spent 15 years doing it.
But when I hear you talk now, to me, it sounds like you already made the choice so that when that moment happens, there's no question, you just execute. Like you said before, you're like, I need a game plan, I need a path. I don't like ambiguity. And I think that's maybe what trips you up with like sellers is you get to a point where you're like, oh, panic mode. I'm not sure what to do. I don't think that I've ever been here before. And the answer is you have been there before. I think in all honesty, if you made the choice before you took a call where you're like, this bitch is going to suck my dick, then as soon as you take that call, it's game over because you've already decided that that's what's going to happen. The other thing that I'll tell you, like one of this other, and I think I posted in the group, but I'll go look again. I love this guy, Todd Toback. Toback. The way that he does it, I love the way that he does it. So, and I've done this before where you get together with the seller and the seller kind of tells you to fuck off. And I'm very emotional. So I feel like I pick up on that easily where I'm like, oh, they don't like me. I got to get back to a place where they like me. Let me do everything they want. Oh, can I call you in 3 weeks? Whatever. Todd Toback does this thing where he's like, well, what happens if your brother doesn't move out? What happens if you don't get that money? And essentially what he does is it's like you, like the seller can't make a decision to sell because it's so ambiguous. There's so many options. All of it is unpleasant. They're not like you that push through the unpleasant stuff. And so you coming along and like holding their hand and saying, okay, the next step is this step. How do we get to that next step? This, or this? Which one do you? So essentially, you guide them into making that choice. But because you help guide them into making the choice, now you know the choice that they made. You know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Now you can plan for yourself how you're gonna take it down.
Mhm.
Anyway, I like the fact that you said when there's ambiguity, you don't know how to proceed. I think you make the choice from the jump that you're like, I'm swinging elephant dick at this point. Everybody's going to want my nuts. You need me more than I need you. How can we work together? That's all you're trying to find. You're not selling nobody anything. And then at the same time too, because you don't know how to move when things are ambiguous, that's what your job is to do on the phone. Have your seller, buying and selling a house is like the most biggest purchase they'll ever make in their whole life, which is the whole reason why they have agents. So if it's such a large purchase, help them step through that entire process. Give them the clarity that you need to make the choices that you already made the choice, which is, I have a huge dick and you need my help. I'm going to help you find your path forward. No more ambiguity, no more time wasted. We're going to find a plan of action together.
Mhm.
Try that, maybe.
All right, cool. I'll try it and then I'll report back next week.
Yeah. Nice to see you always. You look handsome. I want a t-shirt, but I'm also going to give you one of my t-shirts for one of your t-shirts.
All right, cool. Yeah, I have to run another batch of these at some point.
Printify. So,
Printify.
McTizick, he's always wearing his logo and stuff.
Yeah.
So Printify is this thing where you like, like a print on demand, like books and whatnot. Essentially, it's
Yeah.
print on demand gear. But the thing is, if you're buying your own gear, then you don't pay the markup on it. And he's telling me he buys his shirts for like $8 to $11.
That's not bad at all.
And like nice shit. And I know you had like the Dickies, Carhartt stuff, so I know you have nice shit too. But like Nike and whatever else. But Printify, it's in the group, but I'll tag you so you can do it again. That's what I'm gonna do for mine.
Nice. Good.
But I'm gonna make it super girly. So
That's all
enjoy.
right. I'll wear it. All right.
Anyway,
It was
nice to
good to
see
see
you.
you.
Always good to see you. Bye, Sam. Thank you for my house. I think about
No
you a
problem.
lot. And I kiss your naked Speedo picture in my head a lot.
All right. Goodbye,
Bye,
Sharky.
Seth.
It was
Bye,
great to
Sandra.
see you.